Hey everyone, come on in. Give me a minute. Come on in, everyone. How's everyone doing today on this Wednesday? Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. My daughter was here, y'all. So, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing good. Hey, Auntie. Hello, Kings and Queens. Hello to you too. Hello, Miss Smith. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, y'all. My daughter was here and I was having a conversation with her. Today, her day off. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing great. So, what do we have here today? Hey, Queen. Hello, how are you doing? Y'all, we know it's still a lot going on with this case and yeah, I really want to know what's his name, Jerry. I really want to know, was he really out there on the 4th of July? I really want to know that. That's a question that I would love to know. Was he really out there on the 4th of July? I seen that picture, that open book post. Oh Lord, was that really him? Hey, Miss D in chat. Hello, how are you? Y'all, let's get into, I want to know why they have not did, why, when is they going to do this autopsy? That's what I want to know. When is this autopsy going to be out? When? I guess we all want to know that. I guess we all don't know when it's actually going to be out. You know, I know we want it out. And y'all, did y'all hear someone else got arrested again? Oh my God, what is wrong with these people with these threatening? It's not worth your freedom. No. Come on, people. Come on. Stop. It's not worth it. It's really, really not worth it. It's really not. I was like, wow. And I think this was a lady. It was another female this time that got arrested. I don't even know where she live at. Probably on his big boat. Whoever said one said he had the smaller boat. So hey Scorpio, so you think that was the granddad? I mean the grandpa? Cause open book post that picture and I looked at it, I'm like, damn, that do look like him. That's what I said to myself. I'm like, damn, that do look like him. Hold on, y'all. 1 minute. Let me get this text. Okay. So y'all, let's get into um Nancy.
The and
Okay, what's going on here? Okay. I'm trying to see the hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see why it's not letting me come on and stand.
It. Could not believe it. I have no doubt that what we're listening to and what she did is credible.
not only has a timeline
Okay, why it's
been
not letting me add to this
analyzed
stand?
by the
Hold on, y'all.
Cajun Navy, the U.S. Cajun Navy, based on also a look at this photo before we go to the Cajun Navy.
Okay. I think I got it. Now, let's see here. Okay.
Look at this.
Let
See
me know.
where Nolan was. Leave up the photo out to Caitlin Becker, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of New York Postcast of their new podcast. Caitlin, what are we seeing?
Well, what we're seeing here comes from this new report from the United States where they're all identified, one of which was the boat that Nolan came out there on. There's several others kind of anchored with it and tied up, which begs the question of where was Nolan when this photo was taken? Because it's unclear if he's actually in it. What time was this photo actually taken? So what you're seeing here is, as you said, a potential pool of witnesses.
Hey, Caitlin, look at this. There's boat number 1. There's boat X. There's boat number 2. There's boat number 3. And there's a boat from which the photo is taken. Now, look in the water. There much has been made. Nolan Wells was drinking. Okay, well, apparently everybody was. They all have contained.
That's what I said to y'all. Okay, if he was, everybody was drinking. Everybody was drinking.
Containers, open containers in the water. Okay, as far as I know, that's not a felony. Boat number 1, full of people. Boat X, full of people. Boat number 2, full of people. Boat number 3, full of people. People on the boat from which the photo was taken. Some of these boats tied together. You know what that means in my world, Caitlin Becker, joining us from the New York Post? Let me see, Caitlin, please. That means witnesses. See, when I look at that, I see witnesses. Other people say, hey, there's people having a good time. I see witnesses. Do you see all those people?
And a
Caitlin,
lot of them.
Who were they? Have they been spoken to? Have they been polygraphed? What can they tell me?
That is the question, right? We don't know from an investigative standpoint who has been spoken to, exactly who is in this photo, and what they have or haven't told law enforcement. There hasn't been really any transparency there. But from what our reporting has showed, there have been dozens of people who have spoken to law enforcement as witnesses. But Nancy, we don't know if it's any of these people that you're seeing in this little cove area right here. And the timing, I think, is really important because these images are taken right around, I think the timeline's about 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish, when the boat that Nolan came out there on leaves and starts taking on water. That's one of the pegs for the timeline. When these photos were actually taken, that is a peg for a timeline. But what we don't know is where Nolan is. There he is. You can see that image right there. But we don't know is where Nolan was when that first image that we saw with all of those boats kind of tied together, when that was taken.
You are seeing a photo obtained by our friends at the United Cajun Navy. And speaking of the United Cajun Navy, joining me now is Brian Trasher, Vice President. Let's see that aerial footage they provided us. This is from the Cajun Navy describing their search, their aerial search. They spotted Nolan Wells's body. They have been integral in the search for Nolan Wells and helping elucidate the facts as we know them. Brace yourself, Trasher. Everybody else is getting death threats. You might as well join the party. To you, Brian Trasher, the United Cajun Navy has come up with a timeline. Now, did I hear Caitlin Becker from the New York Post correctly that that photo where the boats are named Boat 1, Boat 2, Boat 3, and Boat X, is that from you guys, the United Cajun Navy?
First of all, I want to thank you for calling this report what it is, and it's a timeline. And some people have called it an investigative report, and it's not accurate because, as you know, we're not investigators. And what we did, Nancy, was we asked our followers, say, hey, if anybody was there that day, you have pictures, videos, whatever, send it to us just so we took all that information and compiled it into just one digestible report of things we thought were relevant and could be helpful. Maybe they're not. Maybe law enforcement's already seen all this and it's nothing new to them. But we just wanted to be transparent about what we received. So going back to your question, the pictures that we received, we did not, as an organization, take any of these photographs. These are all images that we received from people who were trying to help us out and trying to help Nolan's family out.
So you asked the public for help, and you got it.
I mean, that was nice that, people came through and was helping him with the photos, to try to narrow down what happened to Nolan. When was the last time Nolan was seen? Where was he seen at? And you know what, y'all? I'm just kind of like coming to a conclusion. I could be wrong because all the times it's just all over the place. 1 minute this time, 1 minute that time, the next time is another time. When was Nolan really missing? That's my question. Was Nolan missing early on before the evening ever came? Did something happen to him early on before mid afternoon? And that's why Nolan's not being thinking now. And y'all can let me know.
Got a treasure trove of photos, and I find this one significant. Guys, we got an all-star panel, and I would like the all-star panel to look at their screens because I've talked about this before, Brian Trasher, and I'm frankly fed up with attacks on the United Cajun Navy. They're doing something, which is more than all of the haters can say. They're doing something. They have amassed evidence. They have created a timeline to secret from us. That said, they're helping. Why trash them? That's, I'm not a shrink. I can't answer that. Let's look at this photo and determine what, if anything, we can discern. Brian, you and I have talked many, many times, and I told you about a serial killer I finally convicted on one case, where the jury convicted him. And I proved a lot because of one earring I found in a particular location. The victim was wearing an earring, and the other earring had been sliced out of her ear, and I found it somewhere else. And I learned a lot because of where it was. Now, don't even bother to tell me that this photo that you have produced is not probative of something. The cluster of boats. Number one, I see a lot of witnesses. Trasher, do we know what time this photo was taken?
We don't know definitively times on all these because even though they're time stamped, it could be a time when it was screenshotted, stamped, not necessarily the original photograph. So we were very careful to denote that in our report that we can't verify timelines. Although based on shadows and positions and things like that, we can determine that some of these, as noted, are taken in the late afternoon. One of the things I thought was interesting about some of these photos we got, Nancy, was that a lot of the photos we had seen before were people like in waist deep water. Well, some of the photos we provided show people up, water up to their chest, almost to their neck. And that's not really wading. That's treading water, in my opinion. And that I thought might have been significant to know that many people were, perhaps enjoying some libations, but also in water that might have been a little too deep just to be playing in.
Good point. You also said something else really smart. And I certainly do not want to rely on this, but sometimes you have to, you take the evidence as you find it and you make the most of what you've got. You said you could tell this was late in the afternoon because how high up the water is. But these people holding drinks, they're not treading water, Trasher. They're standing there. These people are not treading water, and the water is up to their armpits. Is that the photo you're talking about as to where you think some of them are treading water, or are there other photos?
The photo at the top, yeah, you're right. It's about up to their armpit. I think there was one later in the report that that showed some of the kids. This was a screenshot of a social media post, and there's 3 boats visible, one fourth boat further in the distance, but a lot of kids on one boat. I say kids, young people on one boat, some on the boat, some in the water. And some of them, it looks, maybe up to the armpit, but some of them, depending on their own height, it looks like it's, I could see a girl holding something in her hand, and the water looks to be pretty close to her neck. So very aggressive slope. So you can be in shallow water and deep water within just a few steps. And once you get into that deep water, you're not as able to keep your feet on. I thought it was significant to know that they were.
To the main photo where the boats are numbered 1, 2, 3, X. Isn't it true, Brian Trasher, that these boats are easily identifiable by I call it a tail number, like you would a plane? Every boat has to be registered, or supposed to be registered. It has a number on it, and it often has a name like Triton. One was named Mac Daddy. There were other names. They're registered, and you know who the owner is, and the owner can tell us who was on the boat that day. Is that correct?
Theoretically, yeah. If you can make out the registration number or the name of the boat, if the vessel's name is registered, along with the registration number. Usually that's sometimes only on a Coast Guard document, but sometimes on a state registration, you do put the vehicle, the boat name if it's asked for, or if you have one. So that is all possible. I'm told, and we're asked to compare notes with the sheriff's office, which we're doing. But I was told that there's been a lot of people that have been contacted and interviewed, and there's a lot of people who were there that day that voluntarily came forward to tell what they know. And because they might have seen their boats in pictures, said, "Oh, we might want to go ahead and call them and let them know, where we were, who was with us, and what we know." So I those people for coming forward.
In addition to the Vice President of the United Cajun Navy, who has been there from the get-go trying to help solve the case, Marie, which is important, but she is a criminal defense attorney and domestic violence expert. She is a violence expert certified advocate. Marie, you saw that. All those people in my book are witnesses. One of them is saying at 7:30, Nolan was nowhere to be seen. Now, I want to see the video or the photo again, because you want to tell me that this guy, Nolan Wells, hit his head and drowned, and none of those people saw what happened? I find that really hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, and that's why it's extremely important that the law enforcement are not too proud to get help from the public. Like you said, if people are sending in videos, they should be using those videos to conduct further investigation. I'm praying that this is a situation like Brian Koberger, where the police department, they were being ragged and being called ranky-dink police, while all the time they were investigating and putting together a case against him. I hope that yeah, because all the time they were saying, "Oh, what are they doing?" It was I think the DA had a long, big beard, which wasn't very conducive to believing he knew what he was doing, but they knew what they were doing.
I know, it looked like Leonard Skinner sitting there. Hey, that videos from Officer Tatum's podcast, all this means witnesses to me. And do you remember in the Diddy case, there was actually a toll-free number for victims to call? There were that many victims, not that it helped at the trial, but that said, I think there needs to be a toll-free number. If you think you have evidence, dial the number. If you have photos like the United Cajun Navy is doing, they asked for the public's help. They got the public's help, and there's more to get. That's what is needed now. Every picture, every video. How often have cases been cracked when someone spots something in a picture they hadn't noticed before, or their memory is jogged by a photo or information they've seen online? I've pointed to this a million times, Brian Trasher, the Gabby Petito case. her body would never have been found if it weren't for amateur sleuths. I believe their name is Red, Blue, and Methane. They were a couple out in the middle of nowhere in dispersed camping where there are no porta potties, no lights, no hookups, no anything. It's just you and the wild animals. I've camped and dispersed before. They're out there and they see a vehicle and they go, that's Gabby's Ford Transit. And they call authorities who would never have gone to this dispersed camping area, and they find her remains. That's how the case was cracked. Who knows what photo, what tip United Cajun Navy or law enforcement or the Nolan Wells team might get that might crack this case wide open. So that said, Brian, how did you create this timeline? I find it very interesting.
I wrote a podcast solo. No producer, no editor, no tech skills, just Riverside. I get high quality podcast recordings right from my.
So first of all, going back to your comment about internet sleuths, a lot of people consider themselves internet sleuths, but some people really are good. And there's one young lady who's helped us out on many cases, who was very helpful in this case. I haven't asked her permission yet if I could say her name, but if she gives me permission and I come back on, I'll be happy to give her credit for all the help she gave us. But basically what we did was we took these pictures, we juxtaposed them to, like Google Earth and satellite pictures of the island to try to determine exactly where they were. We looked at the initial coordinates called out from I think from the Coast Guard or from Marine Patrol when the missing persons report first went out, and basically just try to run these pictures against each other to say, okay, this boat's here now, it's not here later, and again, just create an index. We had to use some software to help us create the index of the pictures and make sure we put it into the best timeline we could. We included social media posts that may or may not have been definitive, but this was happening in real time. So we thought it was important to put those up there to create context. And so again, just trying to, our goal was to take what we've received, put it into a digestible format that just about anybody could understand, hopefully. And if it's helpful, great. If it's not, then I don't think, no harm, no foul,
To Dave Matt, Crime Stories investigative reporter, based on this timeline, and it may be refined, the timeline, because there is a group of people fighting at 5 p.m. Who are they? The friends say they leave at 4:31. That should be able to be verified through GPS. 5 p.m. Nolan, according to them, is still at Horn Island. Is he? Because by 7:30, witness states Nolan nowhere in sight. So where was he? He wasn't floating in the water. He wasn't on the shore. If he had, hold on, Dave, to Joe Scott Morgan, if he had drowned, wouldn't he be floating in the water?
Facts.
Perhaps. I've seen bodies in the immediate that will go directly to the bottom. And there are those that do in fact float. So a lot of it is going to depend upon the temperature of the water many times. A lot of it's going to depend upon, is there anything else out there that could, let's see, how can I put this, that could in fact impede the body's ability to float to the top, like beneath a boat. And as you can, fact that had occurred, you can actually have bodies that will be caught beneath other vessels. I've worked cases like that where they were looking around for someone and they couldn't find them because the whole area was surrounded by vessels. And so there are a lot of elements that go.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. If you you are a homeowner, you probably thought off this disclaimer for well qualified American finance. Side by side, boat number 3.
Damn, y'all, look at all those people out there, y'all. Just look at all those people. It is so many people out there, y'all. Where is Nolan? Where is he? And that's why I'm asking, is the possibility, y'all, that he could have been missing earlier than what people say he's missing? Now, when I say that, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying nobody didn't do nothing to him, because I do believe something still happened. What, we don't know. But is it a possibility, y'all, that Nolan could have got hurt early on that day? Because if they saying that Nolan wanted to stay back with Katie, as I don't believe again, and he wanted to stay back with other people, but it seems like around that time they're still having a good time. So where is Nolan? So I'm wondering, was something happened early on that day, and Nolan been missing for quite some time, y'all? Y'all let me know how y'all feel, because I'm starting to feel like that. Because where is Nolan in all of these photos? Where is he? I mean, y'all help me out. What do y'all think?
The Palm Beach, and also the Triton, we believe, which is the boat, also that reportedly leaves, according to the occupants, without Nolan. They claim, stand this,
Right.
according Caitlin Becker, according to the mysterious Katie, not that mysterious because her sister has posted and we've obtained her photo, we think. She says he left with his friends. They say he stayed with her. Okay, that's a problem.
Yep. That's a problem. And there are also quite a few friends that he had come out with. So the Triton that he was on, there were 3 or 4 people on that particular boat. That's the one that he had come out on, and the one that his friends say, we asked him to get back on the boat. He didn't get back on the boat. His phone was on the boat. We left. We took on water. We needed help. He said he was going to stay to talk to this mysterious, as you said, Katie. Mysterious Katie says that she talked to him for a minute. It was no big deal.
Right.
Then his friends called him back, and that's where he went, and she just assumed he went back on the boat with his friends. The issue I think that we're running into here is that the friends weren't just the 4 that you're seeing right here. There were multiple boats, 3 boats full of friends that came out. So could he have been going back to a second boat full of his friends while the Triton was gone, or were they referring to—
Okay, and they also said Nolan didn't come on the boat with Warren and them. Okay, that's what people are saying. Oh, well, y'all got to realize that Nolan did not get on the boat with Warren and them. Well, let's say this: if he didn't, where is the people that he left? Is those people? Where have they came forward yet and say Nolan was on the boat with us on the island? He was with us. He left with us. He was on our boat. Where is these people? If one of them want their names cleared, then say who the people was that he was on the boat with, and he was never on the boat with y'all. But one time we did see him on the boat with y'all because y'all took a picture together, right? But if he didn't get on the boat with y'all in the beginning, where is the people? Where is these people at? That's what I want to know.
to the Triton itself? That, I think, is where the biggest bit of confusion lays.
Dave Mack, question. Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, didn't at the get-go the friends on the boat state they didn't know the name for? I'm paraphrasing. We can look up their exact words. Then does it turn out they're actually texting with her about where is Nolan?
Apparently, Nancy, you have to realize a couple things here, and it's getting lost in the muck and the mire, is the friends. We use the term Nolan's friends that he went to Horn Island with. Well, you know what, Nancy? Many people have said that he didn't know Katie, they didn't know Katie before that day, and that Nolan just started talking to her. But now it appears that they, being the group of friends, were
dentist-approved way to clean your retainer. Just water and the touch of a button.
If you wear your retainer every night like I do, you know how quickly it can start looking cloudy.
They were communicating with Katie and knew who she was, and that during the...
Then why would they say they didn't know who she was? Call her some girl, a girl.
Well, here's the problem, Nancy, is I keep hearing friends, but you realize that Nolan, he went out to Horn Island on a boat. You know, Warren Hudson has talked a lot. He's been with Officer Tatum talking about, you know, his best friend Nolan and the whole thing. But first of all, Warren did not go to Horn Island on the same boat as Nolan Wells. And we have heard...
Okay. We're hearing it again, right, guys? So what boat did Nolan go on? Who was the people that he went on the island with? Who is the people? Where is the boat? Why these people is not speaking out? Where is these people? If that's what he said and you're repeating it like everybody else is repeating it, where is these people? Have these people spoke out?
Over and over from parents and friends, he would, you know, run with the one that got you there, right? So Nolan went with one boat and they expected he would return on the same boat. Yeah. We're now finding out that was never the plan. He was never going back on the same boat that took him to the island. So when we talk about this group of friends, Nancy.
See, first of all, you don't really know that because none of us don't know that. You only going by what you hearing Warren say on these podcasts, right? Because you don't know this, like we don't know what boat Nolan was on. Just say, this is what Nolan said on Mr. Potato podcast, that Nolan was not on the boat with us. He went on the boat with other people because you don't know that. You're speculating just like we are. You don't know what boat Nolan was on because you was not there. So you can't identify what boat Nolan was really on. You can't say that neither because you was not there.
They were scattered on 3 or 4 different boats. And we keep focusing on the one with the bilge pump problem. But now, what boat was Nolan Wells supposed to be going back?
Well, we focusing on that boat, man, because that's the boat that we heard all the commotion on. So that's why common sense would tell you that's why everybody is focusing on that boat, because no one yet came out and say what boat Nolan was on and who was on that boat. That's only common sense.
Back to the mainland. We know he didn't ride with Warren Hudson to the island. So where was he supposed to be on?
Brian Trasher joining us.
So won't you call him and ask him? Won't you call Warren and have a communication with him and ask him what boat was Nolan on and who was the people? And do you have any pictures or anything that you can identify that Nolan was on that boat with those other people to clear these people up? And again, we're focusing on that boat because that's the commotion that we heard on the boat. We heard Nolan's name, we heard this, and we heard that. So that's why we are focusing on that. And I think he don't understand that.
Vice President, United Cajun Navy, on the case from the very beginning. Brian, do we know the time of the CETO call made from the Triton?
We do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it's been reported, and obviously the CETO would have the exact time of that recording and stuff in their archives. But it seems like it was after 3 o'clock, before 4:30, and we know that the tow was canceled because somebody got in touch with Bart Edmondson, who ended up towing the boat himself, being a good Samaritan. Of course, now that poor guy's getting, raked over the coals just for being a good, what we try to.
Right, Auntie, that's the thing. Warren said they had 3 boats, right? And they were saying in the beginning when it first aired out, right? So then, Warren, tell us what boat that he was on. Everybody keeps saying it's 3 boats. Warren was not on the boat with us. It was 3 different boats. What boat he was on? No one is not saying what boat he was on and who was on that boat. That's the point everybody is overlooking. Okay, it probably was 3 boats. I'm not going to deny that, right? But who was the people that Warren was on the boat with? Who was the people? Do anybody have pictures of that? Can anybody identify the people that he was on the boat with? Where's these people? That's my thing. That's my whole concern about it. If I'm making here.
Tell everybody to be. Yeah, I think
Hey,
that I saw that report as well, and it may have been that somebody contacted him and said, hey, we got somebody to tow us. So maybe he called because he had a better signal and said, hey, they don't need it anymore. Again, these are all kind of, the things that were already out there. I don't think we included too much about that in our report because it had been reported on so much. But I also just wanted to point out, too, on the photo on page 14, this is one that we included, even though we could, there's a young man that matches Nolan's description, and I'm saying it that way because we can't verify that it's him in this picture, and he's partially in it because there's a girl blocking him, but it's a young, slender African-American male wearing blue swim trunks from what you could see in the picture. According to the person that submitted that photo, it was taken at approximately 4:50 p.m. Central Time on July 4th, which would have been after the GPS data says that the Triton had left Horn Island. Now, that's only relevant if this young man in the picture actually turns out to be Nolan. We never could verify it, but we thought it was important enough to at least.
This is the guy right here, y'all. Right here. They don't know if it's Nolan or not. Well, let me ask a question. Why did they blur the faces out? If you wouldn't have blurred the faces out, maybe people could identify was that Nolan or not, because that don't make sense. You got, you could have blurred out all the other people's faces, but kept that face so people can see if that's Nolan or not, because nobody won't know who it is if you got the face blurred. That didn't make sense to me at all, but I'm just saying.
Include as a possibility.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Fox 1. When breaking crime news develops, we investigate it and bring it to you. Bombshell updates, answers to coverage with real-time analysis.
Bam! My accident happened in a second.
If it's not Nolan, that's fine, but
that's taking a really
why
long
blur the
time.
face
You've
out?
been injured.
We're blowing it up. We see 1, 2, 3.
I mean, the guy legs do
at
look
the
darker than
forefront.
Nolan
3
legs,
white females in bikinis, 1 white male walking along. Now, beside the woman in the bikini on the right, I see 2 people. One looks like a female furthest away, but between the white female and the other
that guy
female,
don't look like Nolan. He's
there
too
is
dark.
an African-American male. That does not look like Nolan Wells to me. Okay, I'm going to have to bring in NASA to enhance this. Brian Trasher, does this guy have facial hair? That's not Nolan.
Again, we couldn't verify it, but we could tell that it was an African-American male on the beach wearing blue swim trunks. We thought that was enough to say, okay, it's possible, but we did
those
like
are
you
dark
said.
blue.
Skin
blue.
It looks like it, but Nancy, I don't know if this picture's been enhanced. I don't know if it's been filtered. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's the whole reason why we couldn't corroborate, but it was like, okay. And also too, those create a good picture.
Yeah, he is dark skinned. He's dark
flotilla of boats. So where if we're looking for a
that's
particular
fact.
one, disclosing that we could not definitively say whether that was him or not. Probably not.
But we need it for the investigation. We need it. And you provided it.
Rule it out.
You got it.
Use it to rule it out.
Okay,
Rule it
so
out.
is this Nolan? If it is Nolan, this is at 4:50 and proves he's still on the island when the other boat, the Triton, leaves. I don't think this is Nolan. But that's just my own two eyes, 2020 and 2018.
That guy
needs to be
way darker
enhanced.
than Nolan.
Joining us now, veteran trial lawyer out of the South Carolina jurisdiction, John Mobley, the founder of the John Mobley Law Firm. See, a lot of people would say, oh, this is a nightmare, all these witnesses. I would have a field day interviewing each one separately. It's like a bonanza. What do you make of what you're hearing, Mobley?
Well, Nancy, I got to call it like I see it. I reviewed the support in detail. I don't think it puts any points on the board. I don't think it moves the needle. If anything, I think it shows everyone that has opinions out there how difficult it is to find reliable information. Because one thing I will have to say about the support, although I didn't find it particularly useful, is that, it sourced all of its information, and unlike a Netflix documentary where people will form opinions on second and third hand information, it would say, this person said this, but this person didn't witness it firsthand. This person repeated what someone else said. Or it said this person made this statement on Facebook. I mean, even the digital information, the photos, those aren't reliable because number one, like they say, you can't corroborate the timestamp. It could be the timestamp could be when the photo was screenshot versus taken. Or even the last one we looked at, they're saying they can't say it was reliable because it could have been in with the color manipulated. So I think it's on this case.
You're wasting my time. I got 1 hour tonight, and you just wasted almost 1 minute of it. Every investigation starts somewhere. Let me just understand something. You have tried a lot of cases, right? That's what I was told.
A ton, and I won most of them.
Nothing like tooting your own horn. Bonk, bonk. That said, every investigation starts somewhere. Yes, I don't have the timestamp, but I can get the timestamp because I know about the photo. You start somewhere. Then you start digging, and then you find out what time it was taken. Then you find out if it was enhanced. Then you find out, is that Nolan at 4:50 and the boat has left? You enhance that audio we keep playing. You find out if they're saying Nolan's dead. I don't know if that's real or not, but I can find out if it's real. So for you, a trial lawyer like yourself, in your own words, won most of them, evidence is not handed to you, Mobley, on a silver platter on top of a Christmas tree. You have to find it. You have to
Nancy, so here.
They're giving us a plethora, a cornucopia of evidence for us to start with. What? Don't waste another minute. Don't do it.
It takes you down a rabbit hole. It takes you down a rabbit hole.
Sick of his shit.
May not be reliable. The best thing to do is to talk
Man,
to
who is
those
paying you? Because it ain't me. We don't pay guests. Rabbit hole, my rear end. Objection, my rear end. A rabbit hole? That's like you get a list of witnesses and go, yeah, I don't have their addresses. Screw it. You have to find them. You have to find the people that took these pictures. You have to find the people that were on those boats after you ID the boats. Then you have to take them one by one and interview. You know what? I'm sending him to the corner and let him think about what he just said. Trash, that New York Post, star of NY Post.
Nancy is just too funny for me.
That's her podcast. Caitlin, what do you make of the photos and the timeline created this far by the United Cajun Navy? Come on, it's something. We've got something. We're not getting anything from the government. We don't have the autopsy. We don't have any information. Nothing. They've gone radio silent.
it's exceptionally helpful to have these things laid out in this way with coordinates and times and pulling in some of the relevant social media information while also noting that it hasn't been verified. It's giving us, I think, the most comprehensive timeline that we could possibly have. I mean, not to push back, because I feel like you push back so much on that poor man, but the rabbit hole is the internet. The rabbit hole is reading every single person's theory. This is concrete information, and when it's not concrete, it says this hasn't been verified. This is at least giving me, from an investigative standpoint as a journalist, somewhere to focus my efforts, to focus my search. The thing that stands out to me are all of the people, like you said, potential witnesses, but also how similar everyone is dressed. They're all in bathing suits, and all the boats look pretty similar to me too. So that, to me, indicates that someone who's saying, I saw this person on this boat, I saw that person on that boat, might not be super clear on that, because as I'm looking at this image, everybody kind of looks the same. All the boats kind of look the same, which does muddy the waters even more and makes talking to them so
I've got
critical.
to work with you before I put you on the stand, girl. No. You are not getting up there and saying, they all look the same to me.
Ooh,
no. We would get the name of the boats. We would find light, no offense, on your boozy eyesight from 30 yards away. Okay, no offense, Kate.
Nance, neither would I. Neither would I.
But there are ways to, contrary to what Mobley just blurted out, there are ways to find these witnesses and nail them down. If that photo is Nolan Wells and it doesn't look like Nolan to me, then he's on the island at 7 p.m. Okay, now let me remind everybody that the guys on the boat, the Triton with Nolan, they're not charged with anything. They are presumed innocent. So don't be starting up the death threats and all that on them. We need them interviewed separately if they hadn't already been. Who knows what we can learn from them? Don't attack them. I want you to hear what one of them said, though, about the mysterious Katie.
To start a podcast with Riverside, all you need is a concept and a way to record it. First, Riverside.com and open an account. And when you're ready to record, just hit the record.
I didn't wake up again until a little after 11 o'clock. And that was to my brother coming in the room being like, hey, Warren's trying to get a hold of you. Warren gets on the phone and he's just like, hey, man, he was like, hey, have you talked to Nolan?
Was with that girl, but y'all knew that girl. Y'all knew that girl. I feel like that was just a stuff off to say he was with that girl. And I'm just saying how I feel. I feel like something happened to Nolan early on. I do. I feel like something happened to Nolan early on because Nolan is nowhere on these boats. Nobody don't see Nolan. But one time when he was on that boat with them, right, and they took that picture, and then Nolan was spotted again in the water, I think, and then he was spotted, I think, bending over on the boat. I think those are the only 3 times that we really seen Nolan. I don't know what time they was. The times is all screwed up, so I don't know. I just feel like whatever happened to Nolan, I feel like it was earlier than what these people are saying. That's what I feel. I mean, y'all can tell me how y'all feel, but I'm just gonna ride with that right now.
Can't get a hold of him. We don't know where he's at. And I was like, man, it's Nolan. He's probably just out somewhere with that girl. Like, get a hold of the girl. You'll probably find Nolan.
Okay, right there, I'm getting a red flag. That's from the Officer Tatum podcast who joined us recently. That girl, the mysterious Katie. Remember, nobody who knew who she was. But then later, Dave Mack, do we learn that one of the guys on the boat had been texting with her and knew full well who it was? Where did the name Katie come from?
Right. Katie was known to at least one person in the group, and that leads you to believe there were certainly more. There were a number of comments publicly made by friends of Nolan that backtracking claiming they didn't know who Katie was, had never seen her before, and then you find out, yeah, well, not only did they know her, but they were texting around about her. So there's a lot of missing information here, Nancy, and it's why you said all.
It's a lot of mixed information or mixed lies. Let's say lies. It's a lot of lies. That's what it is. That's what I'm gonna call it. A lot of lies.
All along. Why are these guys not on a polygraph?
Marie?
Just because we're having a lot of people coming up with a lot of different theories, I agree with Caitlin. Not every theory deserves the breath of air. It's not all true. I think it could confuse the search for justice when we're entertaining every single person who posts every single theory, even when it makes no sense. And I have to bring my friend out of probation and say that you can't, go according to every single piece of information you get. It has to make sense to warrant the investigators taking time to investigate. And the fact that they're not sharing with us, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not doing it all. There's no law that says they have to share everything they're finding out with the public.
Hi, guys. American homeowners. The FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud called We Partner. To get a free Tom promo code Katie's sister. Katie had a convo, assumed Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out in. Katie made it home on another boat. Katie assumed the friends telling him, get on, wouldn't have left without him. Okay, so he says, I'm going back with my friends. She thinks he got on the boat. The mystery girl Wells reportedly stayed behind to speak with has been identified. Now, at the get-go, we were told no one knew who she was. He had never met her before. He had just met her and was talking to her. But her sister provides a different account of what happened. Whenever I see a conflict in the evidence, I have a problem. This is all unfolding as we go to air tonight. We wait for that toxicology report. We wait for the autopsy to be revealed. We wait for a witness list to be produced. At this hour, reports a grand jury is convening to amass evidence, much the way the Cajun Navy did. If you know or think you know anything regarding this case, dial 228-769-3063. 228-769-3063. There's been a lot of questions regarding this number for law enforcement.
I won't touch that number. Do you hear me, y'all?
American hero Deputy Sheriff Bradley Link.
Touch that number.
Lake Sheriff 8, gunned down in the line of duty.
I would not touch that number. Hell no. And somebody else just got arrested. I think it was a lady, they said. Now, she was crazy. All that. It's just. It's be dialed on my goddamn phone. No way, baby. Over no YouTube stuff. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Not me. All that stuff is just not worth it. Some people just need to. I want to be out here making no threats because you can do things and say things in a respectable way. Even though some of us is upset about the way the case is going and stuff like that, but still, you don't want to make threats because it's not worth your freedom. It's really not worth your freedom. That's just my opinion, but all right, hold on. Everybody is different. I'm not going to jail for nobody. Hell no. Now let me see, cause I seen oh, they even threatening Willie D too. Somebody sent him a threat because he talked about it. I don't know who did it, but somebody did send him a threat. Let's see what he's saying over here, y'all.
Dance is more than just using your body. So likely contributed.
Things that they can't stop me from under.
Okay, let's go back, y'all, to some of this to see what they were saying.
In fact, right now,
let's take this back a little bit.
Is possible. I think that if somebody brings a frivolous civil lawsuit,
got to watch what you say up here on these channels, because these people will come after you.
Him in order to.
Let me see.
Like you're saying, a lot of adults drink, a lot of adults smoke marijuana.
I don't be Nolan was doing none of
that. 12 strangers who may be cryptics like me should believe it, right? Because this is a process, because it's the original we got from the database, right? Then we had this expert come in and we did this process, and we independently, we didn't rely on outside sources, don't work for the state. We independently came to the same conclusion, and you need you have to you need to accept the audio is not here to lie to us. Much more tangible, and then motive, like you said, becomes irrelevant, right? So it's the real deal, and that can be done.
Okay,
that's what I would do.
Okay, so let's say this case makes it to the grand jury, right? It makes it to the grand jury. So knowing what you know about the evidence that is out there, you know, what is the most important piece of evidence that you believe that the grand jury would consider to bring forth an indictment?
Yeah. If we accept the audio, the enhanced audio, that is the most important part, because that ties. What if I would say, give me, does the where?
Sheriff, I don't know. I are you saying the calls with what they were saying that was stay on the boat with the kids? Are you talking about those calls? Let me know what calls you're talking about before I reply.
The who, the when, and now you don't need as much of why anymore. You hear these voices in the back being frantic, saying that that Nolan is in some kind of serious distress, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know they can make a call because their other friend is on the call. They fail to mention it. They fail to ask for medical, and then no one's not seen again, right? So maybe he was not doing well and you freaked out and you tipped him over. Maybe he went unconscious and you don't know CPR and you thought he was dead and he wasn't, or you thought he was dead and he was, and you did nothing to help him. You discarded the body. You tampered with evidence. Or maybe you gave him one too many drinks. So maybe he was drinking. Maybe he was taking drugs. Maybe you gave it to him and he had a bad reaction. And now you're freaking out because the drugs and alcohol he may have taken came from you. You know, we see a lot of fentanyl deaths in this country right now. A lot of people who are addicted to cocaine, and they take one bad hit of cocaine with fentanyl, and that's all it takes, right? Maybe you guys were partying, you know, maybe not, you know, but if alcohol and drugs are in play, that doesn't make Nolan responsible for his own death, right? Especially if someone else gave it to him and it was laced inadvertently.
Yeah, you can say that, but listen to the video. I mean, somebody was saying, damn, and all that shit, is he dead, and check his chest and all of that. So, I mean, that shows you that literally, it sounds to me Nolan was on that goddamn boat. It sounds like to me he was on that boat, because why would somebody do all that? And see, again, they did not know that they was being recorded. They didn't know that. They didn't know that what they were saying was picking up on that recording when they dialed for help. They didn't know. All of this was a secret to them until it came out. Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah, because if you're going to try to make him out to be a bad guy because you say he was drinking or he may have been high, then man, you're gonna have to arrest every damn body that was on that damn island, damn near, because that's what people do when when they're in a celebratory mode. You know, people drink. You know, youngsters get high. You know, hell, old folks get high. I know some 70-some-year-olds that smoke a little something like something. You know, I'm talking about, like they like that. They like a little sweet every now and then. You know, so that should not constitute murder. So when they say that, let me, just from a legal standpoint, why bring something like that into the fold? Why?
Sure. So I think you're right. People are starting to bring up that he may have been using drugs and alcohol to place the blame on Nolan. I do think that's what's happening.
Man,
he was drinking.
Now, y'all, I agree with him on that. Do y'all agree with that? I agree with him on that. They trying to smear campaign Nolan's name to place the blame on Nolan. I definitely agree with this attorney on that one.
Drugs, and that in and of itself is why he is dead. I don't accept that. I don't like
me neither. I don't accept and I don't like it.
Push. I think it makes him a teenager. It makes him a college. That's what it makes him. Like you're saying, a lot of adults drink. A lot of adults smoke marijuana and do drugs. Marijuana is legal in most of the country now. So the fact that he did that makes him young. That makes him an American. I glean nothing nefarious from that. To the extent it contributed, the audio was just went again. To the extent that it contributed to his own undoing, maybe, but that's not been established either.
Yeah.
And usually when people bring up drugs and alcohol or your fault, it's usually because drugs and alcohol were my fault.
Right.
And now they're shifting that blame.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, let's take a pause and switch from the criminal side to the civil side right quick, and let me bring on attorney Yumika Lewis. Yumika, where are you? Where are you? There she is. Hey, can you hear me? I think you have to unmute your mic. Well, we having some major problems on the tech side.
Yes. Hi.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, you're kind of blurry over there, but I see you there. But it's.
Let me take the blur off. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about now?
Can you really trust AI to keep your chats private?
Hold on, y'all.
ever feel like your AI chats are
Back to the show. Bart Edmondson's attorney is threatening to sue Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, and content creators. From a legal standpoint, how strong is that strategy?
Well, they sure ain't getting shit from me. Not a damn thing they won't.
Well, first,
sorry, this is really loud for me.
And trust me, y'all, Bill Crump is a civil attorney, but believe it, that man has his own personal attorney too. That because he's not attorney doesn't mean he don't have his own personal attorney too that gives him advice. Okay? I have not seen that man did nothing wrong. I'm just gonna be honest. You know, I mean, I don't understand why people is coming for him. Well, let me just take that back. I see why people coming for him. You know, because see what they wanted this family to stand alone and fight this battle by themselves. And when Bill Crump got involved, you know, they felt some type of way because they felt like they wanted a lot of this family, tell this family anything, you know, shove shit under the rug, you know, and expect this family just to believe what they wanted to believe. Now, when that detective came out and said that they didn't see no foul play, they think this was an accident. At that point, that's when the mom retrieved Ben Crump, right? And after that, people started disliking it, saying Bill Crump brought all the racists out, all this stuff, and you know, they just started attacking this man. But if the mom would have never hired Ben Crump, none of this stuff wouldn't have been going on because they would have been loving everything that the mother was fighting this case by herself and she can get told whatever. She may believe it. It would get shoved under the rug. Yeah, that's what this is all about.
So first, I want to say hi. Thank you for having me. You've been listening to me. And
open book, you're right, baby, because I'm going to tell you something. They better leave me alone. I'm a little ass child. I don't make no money. Okay. I ain't got nothing for y'all motherfuckers. So keep on strolling from me. Just don't watch me. You ain't got to worry about what I say. Just don't even watch it. See, that's why I'm putting none of them motherfuckers on my thumbnails because I don't want them over here. I don't want just leave me alone. Keep strolling. Go everywhere else. You know, and just leave me alone. Let me be peaceful over here to cover this story at peace. Because I'm not doing anything wrong but covering a worldwide story that went all over the globe. Okay? Just leave me alone. All right? Oh, Lord, these people, because I ain't got no money for y'all. I ain't got shit. Shit. Now, if y'all would like to donate to me today, I would appreciate it. Yes. Please donate to my channel.
Can just have a moment to introduce myself. I'm UA Lewis, and I civil rights lawyer myself, like Ben Crump. I do it at a Houston, Harris County, Texas, but I do it all over the United States. So I have a special take on this because I feel like they're trying to stop and slow down all this activity that he's been involved with throughout the nation. I have special appreciation for him because he is bringing light to a lot of these cases that normally would not have light on them. So this coming out of Mississippi is I'm not surprised, expected.
I think they're saying I think you're saying.
Hear me?
Your back players.
I hear you, but it's like an echo.
Bad.
Oh boy. Okay, hang on.
Maybe make sure you close any tabs that might be open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that better, family? Let me know if that's better.
She got to talk first. We don't know yet.
Is it?
Is this better, y'all? She sounds worse than dude. Let's see. Echo.
Maybe when she's talking, maybe you should mute.
Is this better?
Is this better? Give me a thumbs up if it's better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she going real bad.
Okay. And I see you clear.
I'm hollering at myself.
I see you clear.
Jesus.
Also.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she should drop and come back.
Okay, something's going on now. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna get there. Let's go.
Maybe she should drop her and bring her back.
Yeah, this is strange.
Yeah, this is strange because we having problems
before, but anyhow.
So
still doing the same.
Still doing the same thing, huh?
No, I think you're good now.
No.
It says still echoing trash. Is thumbs up if it's good. Thumbs up if it's good.
Yeah, I hear. Maybe
it's bad. They say it's worse.
Maybe at the audio.
Echoing. They say you got to echo.
Okay.
Just drop her, Willie, baby,
How about
and
now?
bring her back up. Or either you
is it better now?
I can hear it's still bad.
It's bad. Oh my Jesus Christ!
I hear that myself.
What in the world?
Like that, something like that.
You know, let me close all the tabs.
Oh, her mic is bad.
Okay, step out and try to come back in.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, let's do that.
Drop her.
Okay. Okay, fam. I'm gonna bring attorney Jack Palmieri back in to continue to help us navigate through the criminal side of this case. Like when did you see the recent video, the recent photo that's out right now at the beach where you see about 3 or 4 boats and you see all of these people out there and somebody is saying that this is where the fight kind of originated. What do you think? Are those in your mind? Are those all of those people potential witnesses, or is that just another picture?
Well, potential because we still don't know where he died.
Now, what's wrong with him?
I think we got trouble on your
Lord,
end
have
again.
mercy, help them.
Your sound?
Any better?
No.
Any better?
No, fix it.
Oh man.
Lord Willie D.
Give me a thumbs up if the sound is good. Thumbs up if the sound is good. You got to echo, they say. You got to echo.
He said, "Hey, I mute my yes."
Yeah, I'm not sure. Why is that here?
Drop him too.
Okay. Well, let's.
I can try to muscle through it.
All right. Well, that sound is too bad. It's too bad. It's terrible.
Muscle through that.
So we can't. Let's try to go out and come back in. I'll try to get back to Yumika. Let's see if Yumika's sounding better now. Okay.
Yeah, close them out.
Yumika.
All right, let's go.
Shop Raymore and Flanagan now and save up to 20% on your purchase during the Buy More, Save More sale. Or with
everybody want to sue everybody now. I don't know why everybody want to sue everybody. Yo, why is everybody want to sue everybody now? I mean, they even want to sue the content creators, everybody. Do you think they just want to shut everybody up? Do y'all think that? Well, I would think they would go after the big bloggers and they want to shut them the fuck up. Because I'm not even a big blogger. You know, I don't even get that many people in my chat a day. God damn, I'm just trying to live. What in the world? Y'all, I don't know, y'all. I just don't understand why they're trying to go after everybody. I just feel like they just trying to shut people down to not have even a freedom of speech. Like, what the hell? Like, just stay away from my channel, please. Just stay away. I ain't asked y'all to come over here. Just stay away. I don't need your ears. Just leave me alone.
Imagine what everybody else is listening thinking. I don't know what you guys hear, but I don't hear any echo on my end.
Does Yumika sound better?
Yeah, she sound better.
Echo. I hear the echo.
It's still echoing.
That's how
I don't hear
mine
that
was
on my
doing
end at
yesterday.
all.
Really, open
It's
book?
better.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
I
I
hear
do.
And you know what, open book? Mine do that sometimes too. And I did get a router for my room, but now the only problem is, y'all, the router piece they sent me is not long enough to come in my room. So I'm going to see, I don't know if I can order a router. So the booster that they sent me through my company, I can use it in my room, but I have to find a longer router. So if anybody in the chat know where I can look for one at, let me know, because they did send me the booster. They did send me the cord with it, but the cord was too short. So I have it in the living room because I still can't put it in my room because I don't have the long enough cord. So if anybody know where I can get one from, y'all can just let me know, because I'll be having that problem too.
Hear a difference. Yeah, I hear it. Okay.
Thank you, sis, for your support. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It does sound better from my end. I did hear
They
that.
say it's good, so let's go.
Okay, let's
rock
go. Yes. So going back to what I was saying is, I have a special appreciation for what he's doing, and I know people are very unappreciative of what he's doing throughout the nation. It's like it kind of reminds me of our local person, Dr. Matthews. You know, a lot of people love what she's doing.
Sis, yes, because they said that I don't know if open books are in the chat or not. They caught her through a comment, y'all. So they screenshotted her threat comment, y'all, and they found out who she was and locked her up. So y'all, everybody that supports me that come in my chat, just be careful what you put in the chat, y'all, okay? Because you don't know who in the bush is. I don't want any of my supporters to, get tangled up and be arrested, anything like that. So y'all just be careful what y'all put in the chat, because I don't want anything to happen like that to my supporters, the ones that do come in and support me all the time. So be careful what you put in the chat, because that lady screenshot was screenshotted and they found out who she was and she was arrested. So be careful of what you put in the chats, because baby, you don't know who watching now. We's on pins and needles, okay?
A lot of people hate what she's doing, but she's shedding light on a lot of, and bring a lot of attention to a lot of things that otherwise would not have attention, and some people don't like it. And so now that he's in Mississippi's home court doing these things, now they have a special mission, I think, almost to put this guy in his place for having the nerve to come to Mississippi with his shenanigans that he's been involved in all throughout the nation. Now he's in our hometown, so we're going to do something different. We're going to sue him in order to try to chill what he's doing, and make him think twice about coming and messing with Mississippi. Remember, Mississippi is the home of the Confederate. Mississippi is the home of the Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president. So yeah, I mean, Mississippi has a point to prove.
But aren't they also trying to put the pressure on journalists and content creators to try to control the narrative? That's why they're not saying anything. I believe that's why law enforcement is mute. That's why the DA is mute. None of the officials in Mississippi are speaking on this. All that you hear is speaking is civil attorneys talking about.
No, they would not be at your door. Don't you speak like that, baby. No, they won't.
Yes, like I said,
I'm gonna stick it and I find it when I finish this. I'm gonna play it for y'all, because the content creator, he showed it, and he a little snitch too. Gonna tell me something. Yeah, I screenshotted it too. I'm like, That's all I said is because y'all know I stay in my own lane. But child, bye.
They're gonna show everybody else how it's done in Mississippi. We're going to do it different. You guys allow this stuff to go on in other places. We're not having it here, and this is how you do it. You're going to shut down these content creators. We're going to threaten to sue them too. We're going to threaten to sue Ben Crump, which, like I mentioned before, it's really, they feel is we just make the threat, that might be enough,
right,
to slow him down or make him think twice.
Yes,
or do
that's what they're doing.
Something
Absolutely.
different. But Ben Crump has legal knowledge. He's a very smart attorney, and that's despite whatever people might feel about his presentation. Attorneys, people like this that feel like they have to control the narrative. That goes back to their default position. They want to control us altogether.
What's the difference between a defamation?
So you can't make a defamatory statement and then hide behind and say, oh, and that's just my opinion. When the effect is the same. So for example, if I say, Willie D, he's out here defrauding all these people, and I don't have any type of information to support it. He's defrauding these folks. He's taking their money. He's doing this, that, or the other. And then I say, oh, in my opinion, that's not going to cover it. If it's going to affect you, it has to affect you. It has to be in harm. Like if you are in a business where me saying view you in a bad light, then that could be enough to show that there's harm here. And so that would be the difference. You can't do things, kind of like just hide behind the fact that, in my opinion, or allegedly even.
An attorney makes some comments on a particular case, whatever. How much protection do they have under the law?
It depends on where it's made. It depends on where it's made, because it can be made in a public setting, like at a press conference or something like that, or it can be made in a courtroom. In a courtroom, it's free reign. Whatever you say, you're protected from defamation lawsuits. But if you're in a press conference, then you do have to be careful, like you would in any other setting. Whether it's quietly and you're just telling, one or two people at a dinner about a defamatory statement, or if you're saying it at a press conference, it's the same. As long as you're communicated to a third person who can cause you harm, or harm resulted as a result of this person saying this false statement about you. And it has to be a false statement, because the truth is always a defense to defamation, and defamation can be in two ways. So you can have defamation by writing, which you've typed and you put on social media.
If you've been injured in an accident and need money now while your case settles, call Oasis today.
They stalking everybody page.
Approved, it's you $500.
Ooh, go away.
So there's two ways to defame somebody in that sense. So you can do it in writing, or you can do it orally. And those are the difference. So like there's two different prongs or trees that come, branches that come from defamation. And if it's truthful, and it's a true statement, then that's always going to be a defense to defamation.
How hard is it to sue somebody and become successful with that lawsuit? If a person was to say, I think he killed him. I think he killed him. Now he's not saying I know he killed him. I think he killed him.
Right, and that's different. That's totally different.
Somebody for that.
So you're allowed to speculate. You are allowed to speculate, and
Boom.
As long as
stop right there. Boom on y'all asses. I'm speculating on y'all asses.
Don't I always say that over here? That's why I say that. I always say over here, y'all, we speculate because we don't know what really happened, because we was not there. We didn't see it. That's why I always say that. And anything I say, we're speculating. I always say that. If y'all notice, I always say that.
Yeah.
And then again, you got to go back to the harm.
Yeah, I knew I was going to get you. That's why I had to get these lawyers, some real lawyers on here. I had to get some real lawyers on here. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
I'm speculating I'm speculating that Bart killed him.
Yeah, and the thing is, that boy, if he has a problem with it, he has to show that there was a harm that was a direct result from you saying, I think he killed him. So now he has to tie back, oh, I lost his contract because Willie D said he thinks I killed him. And, you know, so that's a big deal. And that's a hard threshold to bring. And again, there is a defense that a person would have if there's a defamation lawsuit brought against them, and that is anti-SLAPP. Anti-SLAPP statute. And the anti-SLAPP is basically just a countersuit almost, but it's a defense. And basically what it does is allows you to say, you know, if you don't come with 100% on paper, and it is so arbitrary the way that it could be determined by the court. The courts don't have enough of a baseline to say what is, you know, what meets the burden or not is really an odd defense. But anyhow, if you don't have enough on your pleadings on the actual lawsuit to support the defamation claim, and that's, you might have it all in your head, you might have all the evidence, but if you don't put it in the actual lawsuit, then the individual can file a motion to dismiss the case based on the defense of anti-SLAPP. And SLAPP is SLAPP, and that's a strategic lawsuit against public participation. And basically it's a way to, it was designed to protect media, but it's been perverted. It's really been perverted to the point where for example, I had a young lady, and I practice criminal defense. I practice from small claim like justice of the peace all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I've practiced on every level, civil and criminal. And one of the things is that when you bring one of these lawsuits, I had a young lady who was accused of stealing from Target. And when she stole from Target, allegedly, the investigator determined it was her going and stealing these cell phones from the cell phone counter because he went on Facebook and found somebody from the surveillance camera on Facebook that looked like this young lady. And they issued a arrest warrant for this young lady. They went to her house and took her from her newborn baby that she just had 2 weeks before. And it wasn't her. It was not her. I can't hear. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I remember that case. I remember that. Yeah.
And so what they did was, what they were allowed to do was say, this is a matter of public concern. And so we're going to file this anti-SLAPP. It's again, it's very perverted. So as a result, they were protected. They were protected because they're saying, oh, this is a public concern. We had to report this to law enforcement. This woman went to jail, had to defend herself, had to hire a criminal defense attorney and beat these charges, and could not sue because of the anti-SLAPP defense. So it's kind of just grown out of control, to be honest with you. And so they always fall back on, and you can talk about things of public concern. You can talk about things that I'm a constitutional lawyer. That is, I don't believe. And so anyhow, so that going back to, it can protect you as well. So the original design. So if somebody, you can use that for your protection as well. The original intent, as you know, being a part of media.
I damn sure am going to do it. I'm putting cases on all you mother. I'm a Denzel. Yeah, I'm putting cases. I ain't taking nothing. Ain't nobody rolling on me. Ain't nobody getting away with nothing. Yeah, see, they trying to see.
I'm nervous. Me too, honey.
Nature Made gummy vitamins.
Yeah,
a delightful way to
say on these
take care.
platforms.
Repeat after me.
Keep
I
saying
choose
that.
joy
You
today.
have to watch what you say.
Well, you what happens is you'll get all your attorney's fees back for even coming in and having to defend this case.
Oh yeah, because I'm damn sure defending. I'm damn sure.
They'll pay for it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm damn sure defending. I'm coming for real. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Two can play that
very
game.
Hard. It's very hard to bring a defamation suit.
Cause you know they're coming after Willie D too, y'all. Yeah, they got him plastered up all over the place and stuff. People coming after him too. So I don't know why. These people is just cruel and evil.
I really don't even file them anymore now. The federal court is more protective of it. They don't have anti-SLAPP in federal court, but you can't just bring a lawsuit in federal court. For a state law, because it's a state law action, and it has to be removed there. It has to be taken to the federal court, and then if you as a defendant were foolish enough to remove to federal court before, so you want to keep it in the state court more than anything. So yeah.
Now, how does this work? Again, for these lawyers who think they can just arbitrarily just sue anybody that has anything negative to say about their client. How does this work for public liability? Like, there are millions and millions and millions of people who are commenting on this case and speculating about who they think is guilty here and what charges should be brought against who. So how difficult would it be to, for them to look into the comments and say, hey, you can't say that. You can't say that. I'm gonna sue you too, and you can't have that opinion. You can't say that.
Told y'all they be looking
How
at the
difficult
comments.
would it be to just go around suing everybody that's got an opinion on this?
It's very difficult. Again, you have that defense, but not only do you have that defense, there are also conditions that you have to meet before you actually bring a defamation lawsuit. For one, you have to ask the person. It's a very short statute of limitations. For one, it's one of the shortest that's available. It's like a 1-year statute of limitation. When your average what we call torts, your average lawsuits that you bring are about personal injury type cases. Those are about 2 years in Texas. In other states a little longer, other states a little shorter. Louisiana is only 1 year, but in any event, and it's a shorter statute of limitations for the most part. And before, so that you got to hurry up with it. And then when you're there, you have to prove that you met the condition to even bring the lawsuit, which means you went to that person, you asked them to retract that statement. That's why you'll see a lot of people will see in newspapers and everything, we have a retraction, and they're trying to fix misinformation. Because if you don't retract, if I'm going to file a defamation lawsuit against you, I have to say, Willie D, you need to retract this statement. Otherwise, I'm going to sue you. If I miss that step, then there's a problem, and you can't bring that lawsuit. When you're dealing with defamation per se, it's a little bit different, which means that on its face is defamation, but you still have to give a person the opportunity to retract that statement. And if they don't retract that statement, then you've met the condition to bring the lawsuit. And so that's a big deal on getting to the court and being successful, because you can always say that they didn't give me that opportunity to retract, and I would have had they gave me that opportunity. So when they're going through social media and they're going through the comments saying, I'm going to sue you, they have to give that person an opportunity to retract.
Right.
They're going in the comments.
And if the person doesn't say, no, I think it's the truth, and I'm going to stand by it, and
I'm gonna start turning my comments
it'll be
off.
shown to be the truth, then they're allowed to do that.
And I get off, so they won't see nobody commenting in my chat.
Now, how about this? Let's say it's a dude out there who used to be a police officer. He ain't no police officer anymore, but he plays one on the internet. Okay, let's say this dude went and told a lawyer, say, man, Willie D over there talking about your client, you ought to sue him. Can I sue him? How successful would I be if I went after him to sue him? Is he defaming me at that moment or not? He's not necessarily defaming me, but he's encouraging encouraging somebody.
Let me see. If that was, first of all, I wouldn't take that case. But if I were forced to abuse process, you know, that you're using this process of kind of, they have such thing is called civil malicious prosecution. So if somebody brings a frivolous civil lawsuit, there is a such thing that you can kind of bring a claim in that realm, and maybe a conspiracy to abuse process might be a claim that will be available. They abuse the process of this of, you know, bringing a lawsuit in order to, you know, chill my speech.
Yeah.
I believe that too. They're used to controlling people. Yeah,
arrest or
I
civil
believe that.
judgment. Who, in your opinion, would be more liable?
They want us to be scared, but do we go back to slavery?
As far as which actors
that's
here,
true too.
You mean the
You're
person
right.
who ends up being convicted, or or you?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if the case ended in a conviction, you got arrest, you got a conviction. Who can the parents, Nolan Wells' parents, go after?
Well, you know, gosh, there's a lot. There's a lot to kind of flesh out with that, because obviously the person who committed the crime, you can go after, maybe depending on how the crime occurred, and you know the level of crime. I don't know what we ultimately the conviction would be, whether it would be murder, negligent, homicide, something like that. Because a lot of times, you know, you'll see a negligent homicide case where somebody might have ran over somebody and killed them by accident in a car, and you can sue that person for that negligent act, and it might not, you know, be a high level crime, but you still have the availability to sue them for that negligent act as well. It's really, so that would go into, you know, the boat owner. It could go into, you know, if they hit him with the boat. I don't know. Titan was. I don't know enough about the case to know all the details. From my understanding, as far as the autopsy is concerned, it came back where there was some bruising on the back of his head. From my understanding, I don't know how true that is, but if that came from, you know, them holding his head and drowning him or something like that, then you can sue these folks, but then you got to look at the money. Like, where's this money going to be coming from?
See, I said
what money do they have?
I said that you can sue somebody. That don't mean you're gonna get the money. Everybody don't have
the best route to get you. The only justice you can get in these situations when you're suing, the only thing you're suing for is economic justice. That's it. You're not suing to have them to go to jail or anything like that. So that's what lawsuits are about. They're about economic justice. So you want to go to the place that can get you the best economic justice, which would be insurance that's covering this negligent, you know, boat action, or if you have somebody that has a lot of money that's involved, because I understand these kids are from, you know, pretty decent families, that have a lot of access, but that's their parents' money. It's not their money. And if they're minors, that's one thing, but
let better than bouillon magic begin.
Hold on.
When you scoop a spoonful and stir it in.
I was
Chicken
saying
noodles,
that.
creamy rice, and more.
Say get them for future earnings. Any trust, trust fund, babies. We want that trust. We want the trust. We want the future earnings. We want your children's future earnings. Somebody got some. We want that boat. Want that boat.
You can do that, but the problem is these people are smart, so they'll know like how to circumvent that, like how to go around. Like let's not give them a trust because they have this lawsuit hanging over them. So you know it's not likely. You know, when I sue law enforcement, when I sue police officers, a lot of times the entity may not come in and cover that officer, and they'll kind of leave them hanging on their own. And then we have to go after the officer individually and their assets individually. And thankfully, in my cases, even though I've had that case, the county, Harris, whatever county I'm dealing with, Harris County a lot, and Houston Police Department a lot, the city of Houston, they'll cover for those individual officers.
Wow.
Even though the city's
Damn,
out of it, or the entity is out of it, out of the case. With that being said, I think that if you have you have a case where you're dealing with an individual officer, like in other states, I've seen it where the entity has not covered them. Non-exempt piece of property is possible. I think that's a little satisfying, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Now we cook. Now we cook, because there needs to be some consequences. The reason why this country continues, people in this country continues to exhibit the same old bad behavior from decades and decades and decades ago is because we keep rewarding bad behavior. So if you reward bad behavior, there's no incentive to change that bad behavior. So this is why you still have people moving the way that they move in Mississippi. Let me tell you Mississippians something, the ones that's getting mad. Y'all all mad because people are pointing at y'all and talking about racism. Y'all know damn well racism is pervasive in Mississippi. So all of that trying to tell us to not talk about it or whatever, you can put a sock in it, partner, because we're going to speak on it. You might be scared. Now, if you that scared, call the police. Oh, no, you can't, because the police your homeboy. Some people in Mississippi, believe it or not, won't outsiders to speak on this. They can't voice it because they got to live there and they got scared to speak out. And if you're that afraid to speak out, you need to go to Mississippi. That's what I would do. Ain't no way possible I live in that uncivilized territory. Mississippi, that Trayston boy said they were a tight-knit community. And he told Ben, he warned Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, you don't know who you're messing with. That's what he said. You don't know who you're messing with. That's
and
this
was who who's Tristan?
That was Trayston. I think it's Trayston or Tristan, something like that. The mixed kid who was on the Batum show. Wow. He had his hat turned backwards and he had his hands folded the entire time. Just mad.
So he can speak from the Black community aspect in this case, it sounds like.
That's what it was.
That's
what it was, but he wasn't fooling anybody and he wasn't scaring anybody. Let me ask you this. If somebody knowingly spreads false information about Nolan Wells's family to try to ruin their reputation, can they be sued? Because it's a lot of
It's the same. It's the same. You have to show the harm. Yes, anybody can sue. We know this. This is everybody knows this to be a fact that anybody can sue. Successful is a whole different story. And with this situation, yeah, definitely they can sue, but then they're facing the same defenses that can cause them to have to pay attorney's fees. So they have to make sure that they T's and dots. I wouldn't run to do that. But you know what? I think it's not said enough. And if I could add this, with Nolan Wells, Colin Kaepernick stepped in and he handled his business. I think he needs to be protected at all costs. He's being attacked for no reason from the Black community, from anybody in the Black community is outlandish, except for your officer guy, your alleged officer guy. I could see him wanting to attack Colin Kaepernick, but Colin Kaepernick has done so much for the civil rights community. I do these civil rights cases. I've had cases where Colin Kaepernick's foundation has come in and paid for an autopsy. And let me tell you what that does. The autopsy, in my particular case, is Michael Thompson. He was killed by El Paso Police Department in El Paso. Colin Kaepernick's foundation came in and paid for an independent autopsy. And what they did was they took the decedent, Michael Thompson's body, and they flew it to the medical examiner where he was located at. They performed the autopsy. I got that autopsy back before El Paso released their autopsy, same as in this case. And what it did for us was it allowed for the narrative to be set first. And the narrative that was set first with our autopsy was this was a homicide. So now the independent would have to explain how they came up with a different outcome, because the stage has been set. The baseline is there. Exactly. This is a professional medical examiner who's gone to school like everybody else. And if you come up with something contrary to what he's come up with, there's a problem. You're gonna have to explain yourself. And I saw it happen when the medical examiner came back in El Paso. They did conclude it was a homicide. These officers killed my client, his son. But not only on top of that, that medical examiner in El Paso had to press her, but she said that it was a homicide and it was affected by methamphetamines.
Wow.
And so I'm like, well, did they overdose him? What do you mean? If it's a homicide, it's a homicide. Why are you even putting methamphetamines anywhere in here if because he had it in his system? But I was able to press her on that. And then when I pressed her, I said, it was the police violence that did it. She didn't use those terms, but she said it was because of the police violence that did that. So that second autopsy put the pressure on her, because I feel like if it wasn't in that order, in that sequence of it coming out, that she may have attributed it all to the methamphetamines and then kind of left it there. And we wouldn't have had a second autopsy to contradict her. So in this case, I think it's great. In Texas, one of the things as far as the autopsies are concerned is it's public record. So with Nolan Wells' family not getting that public record, it's a problem. And to me, it doesn't matter the fact that there's a criminal investigation going on. In fact, in Texas, they just passed a law, Governor Abbott signed it, where parents can get their child's autopsy, even if it can't be released publicly. And that came from those children that died in Uvalde, because those parents didn't know when that shooting happened in Uvalde with all those little children there at that school. Those parents were in the dark. They did not know what happened to their children in the autopsy results. So after that, those parents went and legislated, and they
Ding dong, it's realtor.com time. You can't find a ranch style with a view. And a mom-in-law suite. More realtor agents
here too, because it doesn't harm anything. You can get them to not release it to the public. You can get an agreement so they can just have some solace about what's going on. And these parents deserve that. And thank God they had that second autopsy, because it does help.
Yeah, I can't believe, John. I want to bring Jack Palmieri back in. I can't believe that John Abbott signed that in the
Greg
law.
Abbott, yeah.
I mean, Greg Abbott, because he is really anti-civilization, anti-civilized. Here we go, Jack. Jack, you good?
I'm good, my friend.
Jack, turn your mic up, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, what do you think about what Yamika was just saying about that the second autopsy? What I'm trying to say, how frequently do you get these multiple autopsies in questionable cases?
I get them as much as possible. If you're asking me, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're asking me or Jack, but I get them in every case.
You can answer also.
You go first while I try to get my mic going here.
Yeah, if there's a problem, I'm going to get it done. If it's something that's not evident, I'm going to get it done. Even when it's a police shooting case, I will get it done, because sometimes later they'll try to say that, oh, it wasn't, he had a heart attack. It wasn't the police shooting that actually, killed them. In fact, right now, Tony Underwood, who was killed by the Houston Police Department, he died about 90 days after the shooting. He was in the hospital, and it took that long. So now, we're going to have a problem with the fact that, he died that much longer. They're going to try to blame other reasons why he died outside of the actual shooting, even though he just never recovered. The bottom line is that. So that autopsy is very important in that case. But I get him done whenever it happens, and he doesn't charge anything. There's no fee to the family in doing this. It's not just Nolan Wells. He's doing this all over the nation, and has been doing it for years.
Yes. So salute to Colin Kaepernick. Jack, you were echoing a moment ago. Let's see if we cleared that up. I think we're good.
Good. How about now?
I think you're good. Y'all let me know give me a thumbs up if the sound is good. I think let's see, he's not fixing it. We know messing with that. We need more. Give me a thumbs up if the sound is good. Okay, we're good. Okay, go ahead, Jack.
I see dual autopsies a lot in the cases where the cause of death is an issue, and it should be. It should be done. It comes off itself, but in these cases where we've seen a lot of these questionable drownings, that's where you see them. You don't see them where there's a shooting. And the cause of death is most likely the cartridges from the firearm. When the cases where it's not concrete, you'll see them a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna come back to you, Jack, and we'll end it right here because you're still echoing real badly. So, but thanks for.
Yo, I want to go to something else because they keep echoing and oh God, it's getting on my nerve before I get off. Let me try to find that one with the lady. I don't know if I can find him, y'all. Because he was saying something about the lady that, I don't know. I always got a problem finding his channel. I don't know why. Let me see. All right, let's see here. I think this is the one here. I'm trying to find one. The one he was talking about with the lady that no, I don't think this is the one here. Let me see. I'm looking for y'all because I was trying to find the one where he was talking about that lady this morning.
Well, I could feel the pulse. Are routinely turned over to a grand jury for an independent review. Okay? So Officer Tatum concluded the interview with Warren, who was one of the last boys to see Nolan Wells. And this last interview answered some questions. Now, there still are some questions that have not been answered fully, like maybe why the cell phone took so long, but a lot of questions did get answered. And not only that, is there more lying going on the Ben Crump side to try and expose maybe some sort of narrative? Let's get down to it. Fugitive TV, stay tuned.
I don't think Bill Crump is trying to spin a narrative on anything. I don't
Welcome to
believe
Fugitive
that.
TV, and I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases of missing individuals, cases of unsolved crime, true crime. And then what we do is we give it a deeper look, a different perspective, because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for 15
people
years,
just don't like Ben Crump.
lived
What
in
is
different
wrong with
countries
these
under
people?
different names. Then I eventually turned myself in. Now I'm a motivational speaker. I help other family members locate missing individuals and even trying to help them locate fugitives that have done something horrific to another family member. Now, for those of you guys that's been following me, as you see, my background's different. I am currently out of state right now working on something. And I will be back in a few days. But just because I'm else does not mean that these cases stop. So we are still talking about Nolan Wells. You guys know I've been on this for probably about the last week and a half. I've been on Nolan Wells ever since it's pretty much almost happened. Okay. And I have been giving you testimony pretty much from both sides. And Nolan Wells is the young man who unfortunately lost his life off the coast of Mississippi. He went to Horn Island with a group of friends, and a group of friends came back, but he didn't. Ashore on Horn Island, they found him July 6th. And the trip they went out there was July 4th. So they found him 2 days later. Well, you got that exposing a lot of things that we are being told by big media, which is really not the truth. For example, my last video, I actually showed you official police reports that the family that's being blamed for
shit, to be honest, we don't even know if the police telling the truth. Okay? Some people I just don't understand. They think because it's a police report, it's the actual police report, and it is true. It's a lot of truth in it. The police department lied just like everybody else lied. So because it's in the police report, it doesn't mean the police is telling the whole truth neither.
happened to Nolan Wells. Ben Crump has been coming out pretty much saying that, hey, the family's not cooperating. Well, in my last video, I showed you guys, I've obtained official reports. I've obtained search waivers where they actually signed off waivers for them to search and seize their boats. Take a look at this.
This over so you can see it. Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, Office of Marine Patrol, permission to search. Permission to search.
And how long did they get that? Did they get that days after what happened? Because we know the first time when they said, could they search the boat? It was said no. So did they go and do this after? How many days was this? Was things cleared up on the boat before they got the boat and they didn't find nothing on the boat? Could that be a possibility? Just saying.
Marine Patrol performed a search on the boats. So all this talk about we need investigation. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say there's like no cover up. I can't guarantee been cooperating.
Now, 3 boats were involved when Nolan Wells left with his group. And I got an email I told you guys drinking.
We need the people. Where's the people? And
we know they're drinking because the pictures, you can see them with Michelob Lights and the High Noons in their hand. So we know they were drinking. It's 4th of July weekend. And then I showed you guys the full dispatch call. And you could tell they were on the boat when the boat was sinking. It was full of water. You can tell that they were panicking. First of all, they're under their age and drinking, and they got to call CTO. So the Triton, which is the boat that Nolan went in on, and the boat that Nolan left his phone on. And not only that, there's another boat called the Palm Beach, which I showed you guys before this interview even came out. I said, it looks like a Palm Beach behind these two, behind the picture of Nolan Wells. I wonder if this boat is with them. Pretty much everything I have said in my past, probably like 4 videos so far, has been verified. Now, we all want the truth of what happened in Nolan Wells. All of us do. We want to know if there is foul play, or if it was just an accident, or if it was something that, he did by himself, which was accidental, which happens in the water, drinking. It happens. I live in Florida, and we see it all the time, unfortunately. So, but we all want the truth. But the one thing that we don't do here is start blaming when there's no evidence.
Exactly. Yes.
And a lot of people start blaming the 3 boys, even though there's no concrete evidence. Okay, all because of it took so long to get the cell phone. Why didn't Nolan have a cell phone on him? And I've been saying for days now, for a few videos, it's common for people when they go to the beach. Now we're not talking about the pool, but to the beach. When you're getting on these boats and you're in the ocean, it is very common that when you're in the water, you leave your phone on the boat.
I understand what you're saying, but again, why did the mother have to track the phone down? Why didn't they call the mother as soon as they got to land and tell the mother, Nolan's is missing, but I have his phone? The phone should have never even been taken to the house. Okay? See, a lot of things people overlook, I guess because they want to. So let's not talk about it's uncommon that people don't take their phones on boats or to the beach, whatever. My daughters and them take their phone to the goddamn beach. Okay? So let's overlook that. Let's look at when they got back to land, whoever had the phone, right? But we know what the phone was at because the phone pinged to his house. So he had the phone. So why didn't he call the mother? Okay. Miss Christina, I have Nolan's phone, but he's missing. We don't know his whereabouts. Why did she have to wait until the phone was pinged to his house and send the lady, which is her friend, to the house? I don't care what nobody say. That is suspicious. That was a whole 24 hours that went past and he had Nolan's phone. So that part I don't buy neither.
Or in a dry bag because it's salt water. You don't want to ruin your $1,000 or more phone, so you leave it on the boat. So it's common. A lot of us left us. We go to the pool and don't even take our phone in the pool water. A lot of us will leave our phones on our seat where our towel's at, or put it in our shoe. Things like that. A lot of us won't even take our phone.
Yeah, that is true. But people take their phones with them. Anybody gonna leave their phone in the house while they go to the beach, to the pool? None of that. Everybody gonna take their phone with them, whether they put the phone in the water or not with them. But my thing is, again, why didn't he call the mother when he got back on land and tell the mother that Nolan was missing? He had Nolan's phone. Why did the mother track Nolan's phone down the next day? That appears to me that it was suspicious and it was sneaky to me. And anybody with common sense would have looked at it like that. I don't care about he didn't have the phone in the water while he was on the boat and all that. I don't care about that. That's irrelevant. My point is what I just said.
and put in our pocket and go swimming with it. This is what we do here in Fugitive TV. We try and give you concrete evidence, and we try and give you a.
Well, let's find out what was his motive for not calling the mother. Okay, because I don't care what channel talks about it. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's find out the motive why he did not call the mother when he got on land, or just say why didn't he call the mother when he first got in the house or on his way home. Let's try to figure that out. That's not a red flag. That's a big red flag to me. It is, because as a mother with 5 sons, that's exactly how I would have looked at it. Why didn't you call me? Why it had to be 24 hours later and you still didn't call me? Okay. And I had to track my son's phone down and track to your house. So that's what I'm talking about.
If there's foul play, I've been saying this, there's 1,000 people on that island. 1,000 people. Why isn't now? And if there's any motive that could be related to her, could there have been an ex-boyfriend on the island? Nobody wants to mention that, but they want to blame the other people, which I was like, that's fine.
And nobody don't want to mention what happened to Nolan. And he don't want to mention why he had Nolan phone for 24 hours. And nobody don't want to mention, they keep saying it was 3 boats, but nobody don't want to mention what damn boat the fuck he was on. And who was the damn people? Nobody don't want to mention that neither. Wonder why? Red flag.
But that's not something we're going to do here because, like I said, there's no clear motive. I've heard all kind of people talking, but there's no clear as into why. And no, he was the only black island. I've had people email me, but he was the only black. He was not.
I mean, obviously, he stands out. I think the only black person I saw when I'm looking at the videos.
You had his friend Javon, who's actually Tracy.
Okay, Javon and his cousin, his brother was there. But was they shown with Nolan? Because nobody don't talk about Javon and his brother anymore. So was they doing things together on the island, or Javon and his brother was with other people? They wasn't really with Nolan, but they were just there, but not hanging out with Nolan. Because they was there, it doesn't mean they was hanging out with Nolan. I can go somewhere with 50 people and know these people, but I don't mean I have to hang with them because I'm there. They there just like I'm there having fun. So that don't mean Javon and his brother came there with Nolan and they was hanging out with Nolan. The same thing. His coach was there. Did the coach hang with him all day? No. But do we know him and the coach had a conversation? Yes, because the mother stated that. But that don't mean that they hung together all that day, that he know every move that Nolan made.
Who's actually done an interview, and he's got a new interview coming up. And even I have pictures of more than one black person on the island. So I even personally have what you go look at my videos. You'll see. Please, friend, there's another right here.
Because I keep saying that. Being Crumb saying he was down with black boy on the island. Try something new. I am sick of hearing that. Maybe he did say it, okay? And maybe that's the way he thought. Maybe because that's the pictures that he's seen and made him say that, you know? But damn, everybody's making that so dramatic. Sometimes people make things bigger than what it is.
Here. So he wasn't the only one. But still, even if he was the only one, even if it was, to me, that's fine facts. So the facts is I showed you all the evidence. I showed you all the police statements. I showed you everything I could. Now, like I said, the police statements is like 40-something pages. but I showed you what was most important. There's another girl who's in the police statement, which is very questionable, I think, but nobody wants to talk about her.
Who is she? Let me talk about her. Let me talk about her. Hold on, y'all.
So this is where it gets interesting. This right here, guys, listen to this. On July 5th, 2026, at approximately 11:55 hours, Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, Office of Marine Patrol Master Sergeant received a call from Captain to locate and interview a female subject that was possibly involved with the missing person on Horn Island. Officer reported to the residents of, the name's been, and the address has been redacted, who was initially reported to be on Horn Island with a group of people associated with Nolan Wells. When interviewed, she stated that she had already spoken with Jackson County Sheriff's Department investigators and stated that she was not on Horn Island, but in fact was on Petit Boy Island with a different group of friends. She stated that she knew Wells but had not seen or spoken with him in over a year. So there was a female. I don't know how her name got brought up.
Now, for the longest time, they were saying that the boys lawyered up. Nobody was talking. Nobody wasn't saying anything, because you have to dig through all the BS to try and find the truth. I was thinking, they lawyered up. I can see why they would lower up, but they're not saying anything on top of that. Interesting. That's not the case whatsoever. Officer Tatum, whether you like him or you hate him, went down to Mississippi and interviewed Warren himself. Okay, went down there and interviewed Warren, and he's also showing people text messages. Okay, phone proof of that. The family has reached out to Nolan Wells' family, and guess what? Crickets. Nobody has replied back.
And who cares? And they don't have to.
Ashley Cole, who everybody was saying she's a judge, she's hiding something and stuff like that. Well, this lady actually texted Nolan's mom saying, hey, we need to talk. And Nolan's mom never texted her back.
And she don't have to. That's not Warren's real mother. She don't have to. People want to, because she's a judge, people think she got authority and control and power on the outside of her job with people. No. The mother don't have to talk to her. I wouldn't even talk to her if I was in this situation because of who she is, and I wouldn't trust her. I will find out other ways of what happened to my son. God will show it up. He will. But no, I want to talk to her neither. She's not the real mother. The real mother should be reaching out to her, not the stepmother. She's married to Warren's father. No, I wouldn't talk to her neither. I don't think she did nothing wrong by not replying to this lady. I don't think she did anything wrong, because we don't know that.
And I was wondering also if you folks have spoken to those families since they lawyered up.
High school friends.
Is when we kind of down.
Yeah. Say that second part again. Have I talked to the families? No. I haven't spoken. Last question. I haven't spoken to the families.
Thanks so much for having us. I want to speak to
That's it. So she gets on there and she says they haven't spoken to the family or did anything like that, alluding to the fact that as if the family haven't tried to communicate with her since you lowered it up, meaning that they lowered it up and they haven't heard any contact from the family. Well, here is Ashley Cole, the stepmama who's a judge is what they say, and she's a family law judge. She's not even a criminal judge. So, they want to make her out to be like she's going to interfere with the case. She don't have no leverage to interfere with the case, to be quite honest. But anyway,
Oh, yeah. I believe she do. She still know the law, no matter what type of judge she is. She went to law school. She know the law. So I don't care what kind of judge she is. She knows the law, period.
This is her, and we got this leaked.
And this text message, which I found kind of odd, because people want to say, hey, if Nolan Wells was so-called best friends with Warren and them, why were they never at Nolan's house? Okay, why, if they were been friends since 8th grade, why they were never at Nolan's house? Warren said Nolan was always over at his house, but they were never over at Nolan's house. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I have.
That's why that's why the mother probably's not saying nothing. She didn't consider him as a friend. Friends gonna be at each other's houses, joking around, playing around, doing things together, interacting with the mom, the dad. If the dad is in the house, they're gonna do a lot of things together if they was truly friends. So this probably explains why the mother is not responding to Warren. This probably why she said Warren wasn't, maybe Nolan's friend. She considered Jovan and Jovan brother as the friend because they was always there. They grew up together, as Christina said, from elementary school, and they still remained their friends. Their mother even became close friends. So that's why Christina is saying what she's saying. Okay? And people is coming out, oh yeah, because Christina went to school with the judge Ashley. That don't mean shit. Because she went to school with her. That don't mean they was best friends. What the fuck is wrong with these people? My kids went to school and graduated from 12th grade. And they didn't consider everybody in that goddamn school their best friend. They may spoke and chit-chat with them and laugh with them, but they never consider everybody in the school their friend. What is wrong with these people? So nowadays, you got to be best friends with somebody. They got to be your best friend if you graduate with them. Well, damn, I never heard of that shit.
Had friends growing up to where I would go over their house. I remember I had a friend named Josh. Josh was white, and he had a refrigerator full of snacks and a kitchen full of food. And I would be at his house every day after school because I knew he had all the food. I knew he had all the snacks. He had double stuffed Oreos. He had the Cocoa Puffs. He had everything you want, Cookie Crisp cereal. And we used to be able to just go over there and just eat what we want, okay? We couldn't do that at my house, but it was allowed at his house. So we used to go over to Josh's house all the time, do that, and play Super Nintendo, whatever it was. And I'd go over there for a couple hours, and then I would leave and go back home. So it all depends on the friend's dynamic of what's going on. And then he has his other friend, Javon, okay? And Javon is supposed to be a best friend too, right? Javon grew up with the family, and Javon's family is close with Nolan Wells's family. So it's a different type of atmosphere, right? Because both of the families are close. And the reason why I say this is because Warren had to reach out to Javon. When Warren found out that, hey, Nolan Wells was not back, nobody seen Nolan Wells, Nolan Wells reached out to Javon, which is Javon is friends of the family. And when he reached out to Javon, he had to reach out and pretty much ask, hey, have you seen Nolan? And Javon was like, no, I haven't. And then Warren asked for Nolan's mom's number. And then that's when Warren called.
Yeah, that's why he did it, because he knew then he had to come clean and start covering shit up. So that's why he called Jovan to get Christina's number. Yeah. And see, Jovan probably really don't know nothing. Jovan and his brother probably left way before anybody. We don't know what time, they left. It would be nice to know what time Jovan did see Nolan before he left. What was Nolan doing before he left? Who was Nolan with before he left? There would be some good questions to really ask, because we don't know that. Only Jovan knows that. What time did Jovan leave? You know?
People were saying that, which was total BS. That was not the case. And he ended up calling Nolan's mom. And this is one thing Officer Tatum did show was a screenshot, which is right here. So As you see, he tried to call Nolan's mom first, but I guess she hung up because she didn't know the number. And then he called back again, and they had a conversation. The conversation lasted 5 minutes. And I'll start thinking, like, if Nolan's missing when Warren called Javon, and I'm not saying Javon's responsible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But why didn't Javon call Nolan's mom? So you get what I'm saying? Why?
Because Jovan probably didn't know he was missing. Warren called his phone and asked him, right? So I think Jovan would have told Christina if he would have knew anything. That's why I said, what time did Jovan leave? When was the last time he seen Nolan? Who was Nolan with? What was Nolan was doing? Jovan probably didn't know anything until Warren called his phone.
Why is so much blame being put on a certain group of individuals, but nobody's looking at other people as well? Because Javon, he called Javon saying, hey, Nolan's missing. Javon's chilling, was like, oh, here's the number. I guess call his mom. Javon didn't even call the mom. So this is what I'm trying to say. Like I said, so I'm not putting blame on anybody. But what I'm saying is people are quick to jump the gun over something. But
well, he called Jovan and told Jovan that Nolan was missing, and he asked for Jovan. He asked for Jovan for the mother number. So then let him call. I don't see Javon did anything wrong by not calling Christina. He asked for the number. He was gonna call Christina and let him do what he do.
But they're not looking at the entire situation. What if these boys are innocent and it was somebody else that did something because you're overlooking them? There's a lot of things that the Ben Crump side
and you're overlooking that.
And I'm not
Christina did not have to talk to that judge.
Side as in Ben Crump and his team, okay? That since they've been involved almost from day one, it's like they've been throwing out certain narratives at us almost to excite people, and everything they're throwing out so far has been debunked.
This video of an argument that is going on, and you know, thank God all young people, they have cell phones, and anytime you hear people raising their voice, they start the video. And so you hear on the video Nolan saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?
Remember the pool party picture? Remember how they reposted the pool party picture? And then you had people coming on TikTok saying, oh yeah, I saw him at the pool party. He got beat up. And then people were running with this. But nobody went back and did the research on where the pool party picture actually came from and the time it was taken.
Say some people, because you can't say everybody, because you don't know what everybody did. And I don't like when people say that everybody. Don't say everybody. Say some people didn't do their research, because I did. And I knew that that pool party was not the same day. That's why I never discussed it. Because I put my thinking cap on and said that couldn't have been no pool party the same day if Nolan was missing, because how did Nolan get to the pool party? So, yeah.
The pool party picture was taken on June 27th. I debunked it myself before big media did. If you go back to my videos, I show you guys.
No, that's not true, because I've been said I didn't believe it. You know, just say what you think and what you feel and stuff on your platform. Don't say you the first one. I hate when content creators say that. I was the first one on my platform and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you really don't know what other content creators say unless you watch all of them, because I don't watch all of them because I don't care to. You know what I'm saying? But I did know that leg, I didn't believe that. That's why I never talked about the pool thing. I didn't believe that. That's why I never talked. There's a lot of things that I didn't believe and I didn't bring it up. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say every content creator, because every content creator may have did their research and knew that pool party was that not adding up. Now it is a lot of people did run with it. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people did run with that, but I was not one of them at all.
Guys, where it came from. I show you guys the date it was posted and everything. So I myself was even like,
right. I agree. Everybody want to be first. And you know what? I'm so glad I'm not like that. I never been like that in my life. I never been like that. And you were so right. Everybody want to be first, and that's the downfall of covering big stories. Because everybody want to be first to see who get the most views and the most people in their chat and all that stuff. Y'all see me. I stay in my lane. I'm not with all that. No, I don't get support like that on my platform, but it is what it is. A lot of people, they send out all them super stickers and super chats, and half of them people be on that platform lying like hell, but they be in them chats believing it, soaking it up, eating it up, you know. And that's why I say don't put no content creator's name in my chat, because I ain't giving them no recognition over here. Don't nobody give me no recognition, and I ain't giving them none. That's period.
like this pool party is not even from the same night.
Okay, Karen, baby.
People were saying he got beat up at the pool party. They put him back on the boat, and then they took him back out to the island. Remember the people saying that?
Now, I do remember people saying that. I never talked on that because I didn't know if that was factual, if that was true or not. But I did say I do not believe that was a pool party. Then when it finally came out, I was right. That pool party was June the 27th, a week prior to them going out on the 4th of July. And she is right. A lot of people just want to be the first. Let me hurry up and do this. Excuse me, let me hurry up and put this out. I'm not like that. A lot of people do that. And like I said, some of them supporters, they be in them different chats, they be believing that shit, like literally believing it. They be getting them big super stickers, super chats, because they think these people, some of these content creators is really telling the truth. And it'd be so funny. It'd be so funny. I'd be like, oh my God, that is just ridiculous to me. So some of the stuff he is saying, it is true. A lot of people doesn't do their research. They just, because they know some of these supporters going to believe it, and they want to see it in my chat. I'm cool with that. I don't get for me, my support every day is 5 coffees. I don't even get that, you know, and I still come up here and do what I do, but I don't tell lies. I don't bring lies with my content. I don't. Nobody can never say I bring lies with my content, because I don't do that.
And there might be some of you guys watching this video still believe in that. It's no possible way, because all you gotta do is coordinates, okay, of the boats. So there's no way they could have did that, because all the GPS coordinates are written down by the Department of Marine Resources. So there's no way they could have done that.
Well, we can't say there's no way they couldn't have done that, because we don't know that. Something could be left out here. We really don't know that. Everything we see is not always true. Excuse me. It's not always factual. My mother always told me, be half of what you hear and half of what you see. There may be some slip. So
none of the boats went back out after they reached back to shore. You know, they didn't go back out to Horn Island. And not only that, that very next morning, there were so many boats out there, Coast Guard, drones, looking for Nolan. Matter of fact, Warren went back out there himself with, I think, his stepdad, he said, to go look for Nolan. Warren and Warren's stepdad went back out the next day to even go help look for Nolan. So it would have been very hard for anybody to go out there, dump the body off where he was last seen at, when you got Coast Guards, Rangers, people out there with drones looking in that area. It would have been, you most likely would have got caught. Okay, that would have been the worst time.
Well, that's not true neither. So I gotta bunk that too, because that could have happened way before that they discovered um, you know, the people went out there. You know what I'm saying? Before Nolan even the police department even know Nolan was missing. That's what I'm trying to say. Before they even knew Nolan was missing. Anybody could have came back out there, and dumped that body back out there. So we can't say that neither. We can't say that because look how long it took before the phone calls to go into the police department to say Nolan was missing. So we can't say the body wasn't dumped there because we don't know that. We don't know that. We don't.
To do it was right then. So that whole notion, I debunked that a while ago about the whole pool party. But Ben Crump put it out there without debunking anything. And then when they questioned him about it, he got questioned and he just said, oh, it was just a repost. I'm not a lawyer. You should, when you repost something, at least try and put some sort of fact with it, not just repost and excite people. That was the wrong thing to do. Then he comes out and says that the family tried to make no contact, as in Warren's family and everybody's family tried to make no contact with Nolan Wells' family. There needs to be a thorough and transparent investigation, and they need to be interrogated. He was saying they lawyered up, didn't talk. He was saying all this. But I showed you guys in my last video, they've talked more than once. They've talked with local law enforcement and Marine Department of Resources through Mississippi, okay?
But again, anybody can talk to law enforcement. That don't mean they telling the truth. They're going to do that to make themselves look good. Do you know how many murderers go and talk to the goddamn detectives? Robbers, all that stuff, go in and talk to the detectives to try to swindle their way out of it. But come to find out, it be them. So just because someone talked to the police, that don't mean jack nothing. It doesn't mean that. It means that they doing it because they want to clear their name so they can be overlooked and let them look at some goddamn body else. So everybody that talks to the detectives, that don't mean that they're not guilty. That doesn't mean that.
They've talked to both of them. And now there's text messages showing that they've been reaching out to Nolan's family. So there's a lot of things on the Crump side, even with the autopsy. I had to physically get the autopsy results and read them and show you guys exactly what they said and exactly why the throat was kept.
Karen, I was at one time, but it was like the money wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. So I just demonetized my page. It really, really wasn't. Because I wasn't big, and you gotta do a lot of views, a lot of watch time hours, and I'm not all that type of person to stay up here for hours and all that stuff. And people not gonna tell you the truth, but you get paid according to your watch time hours and stuff like that. And a lot of super stickers and stuff like that. It boosts the money up too on your channel, and people watching your ads. And I wasn't getting my ads watched like that. It just came annoying. So I just demonetized my own page. Me. I demonetized my own page. Better for me. I didn't want to go through the aggravation no more. So that's why I just, do the coffee link, and you know what I'm saying? And whoever want to donate to my coffee link, they can donate to my coffee link. That's still supporting my channel, but it was just too much.
Why there could have been possible.
I'm not gonna stay up here and do all that lying and all that shit just to get. I'm not doing all that shit. I'm gonna be myself. I can't do nothing better but just be myself and who I am.
Redness in the back of the head from pooling of blood, which can happen after the body has been located and laid on his or her back. I have to show you guys this. Now, I'm not saying there's no foul play, but the thing is, we keep hearing we want clear and transparent information. We want a clear and transparent investigation. How many times have we heard this?
Reverend Al's answer to your question, what is transparency to us is truly here an impartial investigation.
So far on your side, it hasn't been clear or transparent at all. So there's a lot of things you're saying, even with the whole Cajun Navy. Oh, he was found fully clothed, and you got people up in arms. He was not found.
Well, that's not true. So I wanted to bunk that from you because that man did say that first. And Ben Crump went back and proved it because he put the video on his IG. That man did say that first. Go back to Ben Crump, Instagram, if it's still there, because he came back and he debunked that. That man did say that first. And that's when Ben Crump got it from. He got it from him.
Fully clothed. And the Cajun Navy had to come out and say that. Said, don't twist our words. So he was not found fully clothed. He was found just with his shorts on like people last seen him. So far on your end, it hasn't been clear and transparent.
I think a lot of things he say too, he doesn't see everything. You know, just like he's saying other content creators that just say whatever, they don't do their research. I think sometimes it's like he's saying the same thing, that he's doing the same thing and saying the same thing that he's saying other people is doing. You know what I'm saying? Because that man definitely did say that. He did say that. And he said that on Nancy Grace's platform.
It's parent. So if you're doing this, why should people trust anything you're going to even say in the future? I'm just asking a question. Now, this raised the question. Do you think it is a money grab? Do you think it's a money grab? Now, I'm going to show you guys something that I did find, because Mississippi or Jackson County, they did come out with a statement saying why they have not released the autopsy. And they also said that when they're going to release the autopsy. So let me show you something. So they said that it's standard procedure when there is a suspicious death that everything goes to.
I hate when people think they so fucking smarter than others all the time and like to throw shade at other people sometimes. I can't stand when people do that shit. That shit get on my fucking nerve.
Grand jury. So a lot of people are saying, well, what are they hiding? What are they hiding? Well, right here, Mississippi grand jury when a death is unknown. It says under Mississippi standard, guys, legal procedure outlined by the office of the district attorney, okay? Judicial process. When a death occurs unknown, unusual, or non-natural circumstance, the case file an independent review. Okay.
Thank you, Karen. I know you always support me too.
Grand jury sessions happen entirely behind closed doors. No judge, no defense attorney, or family members is allowed in the room. Now, I convicted ham sandwich because there's no defense. It says participants, only the grand jurors, the prosecutor, and some witnesses are present while evidence is heard. The prosecutor leaves during deliberations and voting. So they don't want to disclose the results to us publicly. They want to disclose it to a grand jury. Now everybody's up in arms over that. They got to be hiding something. It says here, guys, it's standard procedure. In a lot of counties, this is standard.
Well, I think everybody know that standard procedure, because that's standard procedure all around the world, especially if a case going to grand jury. They're not going to talk about it until they see what grand jury are going to do with it. But I think people's concerns was that they was being a little suspicious about a lot of things. And I think they was being suspicious about a lot of things also. You know, but I think people is not crazy enough not to know that it's going to go to grand jury first. After go to grand jury, they'll see what grand jury want to do with the case. If they're going to make some arrests or whatever, then they will come out and talk about it. I think everybody does know that.
Procedure when a death is unknown. Here's the thing. You could be having a grand jury done on you right now, and you won't even know it. And that's how sometimes charges just come up on you. Oh, I'm indicted now because there was a grand jury on you and you didn't even know it. They don't even want you to know. They don't want to put that information out there. They want to keep a lot of things close to the vest because think about this. If they put out the autopsy results, right, before the grand jury, and let's just say there was a foul play. Let's just say there was a stab wound somewhere. Let's just say, for example, okay? Now we're all, oh, we got, now you can have people lying because now we all know how he passed, okay? Then you can have somebody that might have the weapon that did the stab, toss it out, whatever it is. Now you got people get on the stand line. Now you got people calling in line. Hey, Sarah had a knife. And I think I saw her just to get that $100,000 reward. So there's a reason why they don't reveal causes of death sometimes, or how many times a person's been shot exactly. The Monique Tepe case. We didn't know exactly at first how many times each of them was shot. We didn't know. We heard 4, we heard 5. Now we know it was multiple times for both of them. I'm talking about a lot. But at first we did not know. Okay, so there's a lot of things they keep close to the vest before they release everything out to the public. So that way people don't get up in arms, people aren't lying, and people aren't trying to hide evidence.
What if you could clean your retainer at the touch of a button? No more brushing or tablets. Over 4 years ago, our team of engineers...
So after me telling you all this, is this a money grab? And the reason why I say this is because Ben Crump is a civil attorney.
Well, it was a money grab for Ben Crump, and it's a money grab for them too. So ask them why they use Nolan's name in their GoFundMe. They shouldn't be using Nolan's name in anything. So is that a money grab too? Because they knew they wouldn't get the money if it wasn't for Nolan.
Civil, not criminal. Okay, not criminal whatsoever. So he can do an investigation. He can try and question people. He can do these type of things. Now, do we know if he's questioning anybody? As far as Warren said none of his team has even talked to them.
I won't talk to them either.
So if none of his team has went and talked to Warren and them, then what type of investigation is he even doing? If he's doing one, because if you're looking at them, wouldn't you want to question?
Why they talk to him? They're gonna say the same thing. The same thing they told Mr. Potato, they'll tell Ben Crump the same thing. It's not even worth talking to him. They're not gonna tell the truth if they did have something to do with it. If they even know somebody that did it or had something to do with it. Do you think them boys gonna really come out and tell the real truth? I won't waste my time talking to him either if I was Ben Crump. For what? For what? He ain't gonna do it, but take him around the circle. That's it.
Them. He's civil. He's not criminal. Now, a family can hire a criminal attorney, even if they have, they're the victims and the prosecutions there. You can still hire a criminal attorney, but they have a civil attorney. Then you have the paperwork that was filed in court, okay? Which showed you guys. Now, before you do a civil lawsuit, every case Ben Crump has been attached to has been some sort of civil lawsuit. Please tell me one that wasn't. He's a civil attorney.
It goes the gunshot wound of the head. A, the injury, proliferation of the left internal And I'm looking at this word because I know it's not subdural artery, but it's
So are some of these things being thrown out at us so it could be just a money grab? And I'm just asking a fair question, whether you think so or you don't think so. Why was a civil attorney doing this? Why is a civil attorney who wants clear, transparent investigation not giving us clear, transparent information? Why is a civil attorney who wants a proper investigation not going out investigating properly? Why does it feel like I have more investigation and evidence on this than it does them? Now, I'm not saying they don't, but why does it feel that way? Okay. So just a
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate your support. Thank you, sweetie. Love you, sis.
fair question. You guys let me know below what you think. All right. Like I said, if there is foul play, then we should be looking at everybody, not just these three. It should be everybody. There's 1,000 people on now.
But we can't say everybody because we don't know who everybody was. That's why we need to know who was Nolan with last. We need to know who was Nolan with last. We need some pictures of who was Nolan with, what was Nolan doing, what was the time. We need proof that Nolan stayed back with the people. And we need these people to come forward. Who was these people? So we can't look at everybody was out there because everybody out there ain't gonna know because they probably don't know some of these people. But I can guarantee you somebody know, but I ain't gonna say everybody because there was too many people out there. Some of them people out there probably didn't even know Nolan at all. And they really don't know what happened. But I can guarantee you some people do.
Island. Okay. So doing all these cases that I have done, I'm out of state doing a case right now. So doing all these cases I have done, I have to realize you have to look always because you never know when a clue might hit you in the face. And if your soul's tunnel vision, that clue's gonna hit you in the face and just fall to the floor and you're gonna keep walking. So please let me know below. What do you think? Okay, please like and subscribe. My goal.
Okay, I'm sick of him. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, everybody out there is not gonna know what happened to Nolan. They just not gonna know. But we know something did happen to Nolan. We know that. We just don't know what. Nobody wants to hear their lies. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Everybody gonna believe what Warren say. So why Bill Crump want to talk to him? He doing the right thing. I wouldn't talk to him either. What he gonna do is say the same thing, shoot the breeze. Well, Nolan was my best friend and we hung out together. We did this. No, I never went to Nolan mom's house. Yeah, I never met his mom, talked to her like that. But I met his dad one time at the Waffle House. It was not out of the ordinary for people to leave their phone on the boat and the same shit. Like who wanna hear that shit? I can't listen to him. I will leave and come back. Oh, I'm done with him for the day, baby. You ain't got to worry about that. He's another bootlicker. Yeah, because some people be thinking they so intelligent and so smarter than others, and I'm a journalist, and I'm this, and I'm that. I don't care who you are. It don't make you always right. That's for sure. Shit, all YouTubers is journalists, if you want to be honest. Yeah. We can all go take and sit in a courtroom and cover a case and come back and talk about it. What do you think that is? Like, let's be real. Like I see people coming out the Don Lemon now. Like, that's crazy work too. They jealous of him. That man, I ain't jealous of nobody. That man got a big platform, always had a big platform way before Nolan case came out, always was getting major support over there. That man got big platforms everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Um, he have two other podcasters too. The man got his business. I mean, come on now. I mean, sometimes the hate can be really real, like for real. It really can be. And it's sad. It's sad. And that's why y'all don't see me in chats. Only I go and open books, and other than that, I try to stay to myself. I don't try to mingle and stuff like that. I'm like that in real life. If a person like me and want to come on my panel or come in my chat, everybody's welcome. But all that, I don't try to be no ass kisser and all that. Don flip flop too much for me. I used to really like him. Oh, okay. They was going off on him, I guess, about the guy that he interviewed yesterday. Supposed to have been Nolan Wells, a friend of Nolan Wells' family. Um, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see him go off on him. I think the guy was kind of like off topic. He's supposed to been coming up there saying how well he knew the family. He jumped all to races and all that shit. I'm like, oh Lord, child. After a while, I ain't even want to hit no more. I tapped on out. Oh Lord, have mercy, y'all. It'd be so much. YouTube is definitely a cutthroat. I can tell you that, cause they out here for the money. It's definitely gonna be a cutthroat. So that's why y'all see. If y'all notice, I always stay to myself. I don't be bothered with too many people and stuff like that. I just stay to myself. That's the best way to be. I don't have to always be coordinating with other people and all that. I do my own thing and just keep on moving, you know. And I pray about everything I do. Before I even go live, I pray. Before I hit my live button, and I just do what I do. Like I said, some people just like people to tell lies. So they feel like, okay, I get my views from that. Don about that cash. And you better believe he getting it too, sis. You better believe it. Oh yeah. That motherfucker be having like 30, 40K people in his chat. Okay? And he don't get them little super stickers. He get them big super stickers. Okay? Oh yeah. So yeah. He coming off big time over there. I saw Roy D. I um I'm the same. I stay to myself. Yeah, I like to say to myself. It is what it is. Maybe another story I pick up. Maybe I get. I miss my old supporters though. When I covered the case with Lulu and that guy, I got a lot of support. That case was sad, but the chat was funny also too. And you get different people when you cover different cases. Some people, once the case is over, they leave. Some people continue to stay. All depends on the person. So that's how it be. So y'all, I'm out of here for the day. And thank y'all too for the support. The two people that supported me. I appreciate y'all so much. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I want y'all to stay blessed, stay prayed up. That cash too. He didn't take a case that don't believe. Yeah, yeah, I heard a lot of people say that. A lot of people, yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yes, yes, Tyrone. Yep, Tyrone and Lulu. Yeah. Oh, that's right. You was with me when I covered that case. You was with me when I covered that case. Yes. Yeah, that was a sad case. But the chat was funny with it. I always had a great panel and everything. And those people really supported me. They really, really did support me. I was getting a lot of support with them people. And a lot of them I just don't see no more. You have a blessed day too, Roy D, and stay cool. Thank you, sis. You do the same. And you was with me also too when I covered the Ashley case, right? Wasn't you with me when I covered the Ashley case too? Because I remember your name. Yeah, when I covered the Ashley case. Yeah, I remember you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everybody have a great, great, great day. And we'll see, because after a while it'll be another case trending. You know? It will be. And I do want to cover oh my God, what's his name, y'all? Oh, I forgot the poor baby name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Texas case with him. I think he go to court on the 19th. Yes, I was. Okay, I figured you was. I knew you was with me then when I covered that case. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Auntie. You too. Yeah, you was with me when I covered all them cases. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and y'all be blessed. I love you guys. Everybody that timed in, I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Peace and love.